Welcome back to episode 224 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow Podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. I'm here with Phil. I'm here with Boo Boo Lubai.
It's America's dynamic-ish duo. A slightly unstable Canadian and a producer doing creepy things in the background. A Gongshow Super Show.
It's been a minute. Phil, you're back.
I'm back.
All right. Well, last time we recorded for Monday's show, you were stranded at a luxury golf resort. You want to tell everyone about it?
Yeah, I was kidnapped by my baseball alumni team. Every year they do a big golf tournament, 12 guys, and baseball, softball is pretty big in Ontario. So it's glorified beer league ball. We don't take it too seriously. Some people take beer league softball seriously, but I don't. And so the team got a bit old. So a lot of guys in their plus 60s like to golf and still get together. So they scooped me up. I don't really golf. I this is only like my 10th time golfing ever, but I love it. I'm hooked. And I went to Mont Tremblant in Quebec. And a lot of people, if they're listening in Canada, know what it is. Very ritzy area. And so I thought I'd be back for the podcast, but one of the guys surprised everybody taking all of us out to dinner, and I didn't have my truck, so I felt kidnapped, and I called Josh in panic, full-blown panic, and Josh calmed me down, and I'm here a week later. Yeah.
And I said, what did I say to you? I say, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
I know. Yeah.
But go have your steak dinner. No, I didn't.
It was delicious.
Hi, Troy.
What's up?
What's going on with you? What did you do on this beautiful Minnesota fall day?
Not a whole lot. I'm hanging out, waiting to find out what team my son made. Tryouts are over. They were over this morning, so we'll see what team he's on.
How long do they make you sweat that?
I don't know. They call everyone, but they have to figure out all the teams first, and then they start giving the coaches the okay to call. I just think they need to post them on the website and get it over with. But they want to be personal and call the kids. It's like, shut up. Just post them.
Just send out the list and be done with it.
I mean, that's what we do in high school. We just post through Schoology. We just put it on the list. Who's on what team?
And every TV show, like when you try out for the play, right? They go on the corkboard outside the drama room. They post the who got what part.
I mean, I guess it's nice to be personal, but
Baba Louie, how are you?
Yep, I'm good.
We were just at my house about 6 minutes ago, so
pretty much.
Long time no see.
Yep,
Yeah, we've been hanging out a lot lately, working on super secret Gong Show stuff, spending all our money.
All three of you get to hang out, and I'm stuck in the true north here by myself.
Yeah,
oh, it's okay.
Pretty much.
Sylvain's coming here soon, so there'll be two of us here in Ottawa.
There you go.
Yeah.
You haven't heard about my day, Phil. It started out not so great. I lost my lawnmower because he went to college, so now I'm mowing the lawn again. Okay. It's been great. And I'm out mowing our backyard, very hilly, get down kind of in the corner, and I discover, unintentionally, that there was a big underground beehive that I mowed over. Proceeded to get stung. I don't even know. I can't even tell how many times I was stung. Like at least 10, maybe up to 15 times.
The legs are everywhere.
The stomach, the legs, the arms, the back, the neck. Not fun.
Ooh, no.
He was a hurting unit. He's a hurting unit.
Is that why Louis went over to take the stingers out with tweezers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. No. But I did learn that I'm apparently not allergic to bee stings, which is
there you go.
You'd be deader than a job right now.
You'd be dead.
Didn't go into anaphylactic shock. You're all right.
No. Well, Louis came over shortly after. He's like, "Do you need an EpiPen?" I'm like, "I don't think so. Everything just hurts." So. But I mow over it, and all of a sudden, like underneath the lawnmower, it had to have been at least 100 bees like come swarming up, and I just knew that this is not going to end well for me in this situation. So I hightailed it out of there, but it didn't matter.
You look a little puffy. Yeah, maybe like 10% anaphylactic.
If I pass out and die during the show, do you think we'll get better ratings?
The show must go on, though.
Just promote it really well if I die. Okay?
We'll do our best. In honor of
show could be a good one. ton to get into today. Really quickly, though, before we get started, just a reminder that the Hockey Cards Gongshow Podcast is a Patreon podcast. What that means is we rely on supportive listeners and watchers like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce more and what we hope better hockey card content, and then fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. We having a problem here, Troy?
No, I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Keep going. I
Okay.
think I got it.
Okay. All right. Where was I?
There we go.
There we go. Patreon.
Hey,
It's very easy to support us. You can do it through Patreon. It starts as little as $5 a month. You can join our $1.99 support level tier. At one point, there was like 20 some spots left.
It went up.
People ask us questions, and we have no idea. It kind of does its own thing, but we do appreciate everyone that supports us. If you want to, you also get access to our Discord server and a great community there. And yeah, it's really easy to do. Go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. Click on become a patron link at the top of the page, or go to Patreon's website directly, patreon.com. Search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, there's a link in the description, or watching us on YouTube, there's a link in the description there too. Also, there's a link in our Instagram, TikTok profile. We have 2 new patrons since our last show.
Whoa.
Sports Card Professor joined out of $1.99, and some guy named Jeremy Lee.
Oh, Jeremy
The Oracle.
joined.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, guys. Both Professor and Jeremy. Very, very touched and honored that you guys would want to support us and want to join our community.
Troy's milked one segment for more than 200 shows. And now we finally get the answer to what's next. You ready, Troy?
All right, Troy, you ready for the game plan?
I am. So we begin today's show with my news segment, which I will explain in a sec. So we're going to hold off for a little longer. Then it's off to Hobby Mount Rushmore, and this time it's the Boston Bruins. Ooh. Next, it's Hobby News, followed by our next installment of our 24-25 NHL season preview. This time we are looking at players who are in a position for a make or break hobby season. Remember, hobby is the key word here. We're a Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast, so hobby season. We then check with Phil to see what puts the glow in Phil's flow. We end the show with new product releases, the Gongshow Mailbag, and any personal pickups. All right, fellas. Since I put we, but since I ran into the ground the greatest NHL player and then the almost greatest NHL player to wear a number segment, it is time for something new. I had many ideas go through my head. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but now I think I finally landed on something, and we'll see. We'll get feedback. People will tell me it's terrible. They'll love it. They'll hate it. We'll see what happens.
what is it?
Tell us.
I'm just going to say, I might flip-flop back and forth. This maybe won't stay for that long. We'll see. Because we've had NHL fun facts with Troy. That segment is it comes back here and there. So
Yep,
that will
it's a
definitely what's that?
It's a hit. People like
that
it.
will definitely be in this spot at some point when I feel like I can do that. But to be in the off season, there's not a lot of stuff going on. Okay, I wanted to have some fun with this segment while also finding a way to learn about random players. That's like my favorite thing, is learning about random players and having fun. So I decided, because I just got fascinated going down a rabbit hole, that I want to look at some of the worst examples of hockey cards that I've ever seen.
That's
and
great.
I know this has been suggested somewhere in our Discord, Instagram.
Yep.
We got tons of suggestions all over the place. But I was going through it. I'm like, this is something I want to do because, one, we'll probably get players we've never heard of. So that's always fun to look at stats and all that and little hobby value stuff. But I just thought it'd be a good idea for a segment. We can have fun. We'll keep it lighthearted. Obviously, we understand everyone makes mistakes. And I am going to probably, for today's show, I'm going to look at 4 or so of the worst looking designed or just bad overall hockey cards I could find. And then we'll keep going through. And remember, this is not in any order. I'm not doing this is the worst hockey card ever. This is the second. It's just random ones that I know of and that I see. All right. Are you fellas ready? Here's my intro pick. I didn't even have a slide, but there for our YouTubers is our intro pick. I'm not even doing this one, but if you see our boy here, eyes shut. I'm not going to say his name because I want to do this card later, but this was my intro slide. So that's what we're
Like
doing.
sleeping.
We're just doing fun, really bad pictures. So, fellas, are you ready?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Troy?
you can ask a question.
So there's no theme here. It's not like my favorite color is blue this week, so we're gonna do blue cards.
No, I was going to be like, go, okay, maybe this week I do airbrush mistakes, or this week but then I was like, I don't want to get stuck. I just want to do random ones that I like.
Okay.
So here we go. First one. And I fully understand YouTubers are probably going to get a lot more out of this, or video watchers. So everyone on audio, I'll say the cards and everything. Go check them out, or if you can kind of check it out while you're listening, it kind of makes it a little more involved. But let me know if it works, doesn't work. We'll see. Okay, first card, 1987 O-Pee-Chee Minis, number 14, Glenn Hanlon. So if you are watching on YouTube, we're starting it off. We are starting off with a good one. And I don't know what to say about this. I'm not sure how a card like this gets through with this picture, but someone at O-Pee-Chee was just like, all right, boys, this is the picture we got. We're going to go with it. Late 80s, I guess, was a wild time. And this one definitely deserves a spot on our list, because you probably should not have a player with a picture with his hand down there. We're just going to say. So
Well, maybe he's just really confident. Like you could say he was feeling himself.
I don't know. They probably caught him at just the right moment. Maybe he was like reaching up and just
adjusting. He's adjusting his jockstrap.
But they decided this would be a great time to take a picture. So this is our first one. Now, Glenn Hanlon, if you haven't heard of him, he's a goalie, played 14 seasons in the NHL. He played with Vancouver, St. Louis, the Rangers, and Detroit. Career record of 167 wins, 202 losses, 61 ties, 476 games played, goals against average of 3.61. And a save percentage of 0.884 with 13 shutouts. So he's one of these guys that I remember. He played in my wheelhouse when I was a kid watching hockey. So all these goalies from that era, I just have some nostalgia for. Now this copy, this card with his hand there are 8 graded copies of this card with PSA. 3 are PSA 10s. I could not find any sales of those. You can definitely buy raw copies of this online for single digits US, so $1, $2. But overall, a very nice, badly designed hockey card.
Do you see yourself buying any of these cards and collecting?
I bet there's a group of a collector, a small niche that this is to me almost kind of in that era card realm. The bad cards, the mistakes that, it's kind of reminds me of that kind of.
You could be their leader.
I could. Well, I'm going to keep a list of all these because, and it's not you can research this stuff. There's a ton of articles online.
Troy,
yes.
It's just one top loader binder on your shelf. That's all it is. What's that? What's that, Uncle Troy? What top loader binder is that? Well, let me show you.
I'm gonna get all the PSA. I'm gonna get PSA 10 copies of all these and go broke doing it, because I'd have to buy all the raws, probably just raw, and try to grade them. But anyways, all right, that was our first one. So I really like that one. All right, second one, 1981 O-Pee-Chee number 317. Dave Farish. So, fellas, it's always nice to have yourself on a hockey card. I don't think any of us argue that. It must be a huge accomplishment for players. We've heard people when they come into the league say they're so excited to get their first hockey card. However, when you barely appear on your card, it might be a little disheartening. If you look at this card, his image is probably on about 25% of it. And the boards and glass get a lot more screen time, we'll call it, or picture time in his card. For our audio listeners, it's a card. It's Dave Farish. He's literally probably on the bench, but there's a glass partition and it's blocking half of his body. And you can barely see his face. And it's just a very odd designed card, but it went out. It's in a legit O-Pee-Chee set. But I love it. And
I think this was a photographer that was just I have to be different. I can't do a standard action or sports card portrait or in-game photo. I gotta
be edgy.
Be creative
and
edgy.
You know who he looks like? You know who the Dave Farish looks like?
No.
The bad guy in Big Trouble Little China. You know that little Asian guy? He's always in the
Yes.
bad movies. And in Lethal
Yes.
Weapon 2, he looks like a
Yes.
younger version of that guy.
True.
Every time you see that character, you know something's going to go down in a movie.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Dave Farish, defenseman, played 7 seasons in the NHL with the Rangers, the Nordiques, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. For his career, he had 17 goals, 110 assists for 127 points in 430 games played. Now, there are 25 graded copies at PSA of this card, with 2 PSA 10s and a PSA 9 copy, which is the most recent I could find, sold in 2021. Now, this is COVID pricing, remember, $6.15 US. So remember that COVID pricing there. Raw copies obviously go for $1. A lot of these are probably raw copy, $1. Okay. Now we get into one where it's I'm scared to show it. Video people, brace yourselves. We have the 1971 O-Pee-Chee number 156. Oh, Roji Vachon. Now,
Oh man.
this card, we can all look at it. If you're watching on video, you can look at it immediately and get freaked out and realize something is wrong. Because let's look at his face. Yeah, okay. Now look at his body. There's something not right. Something's not matching.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Something is not matching. So, again, you wonder what goes through the heads of people. Now, I think he was traded when it was like one of these issues where he got traded from the Canadians, I think. They probably were like, we got to have a Kings card of him. And I know in the past they would just maybe put a little text that said now with whoever. But this one, they just went way off the rails. So what they decided to do is they slapped his head on a body. They did not care about skin tones or anything. They just said, we're going to put his head on a body of a Kings player wearing a jersey. Now, that's an actual Kings player's body. It's just not his. It's this guy, Ross Lonsberry.
Oh, you found it. That's
Wow.
It's pretty well known if you research this one. But you can tell, like, you look, he's got a couple moles on his neck, which are, it's the exact same. It's the exact same picture. They just threw Vachon's his head on top, which it almost looks plastic. It looks fake.
Why'd they put a clearly not a hairy guy on a hairy guy as a hairy guy? That's silly.
Bad card list. That's why we got to put this one on. It's like this, like,
Amazing.
but
Lion's mane.
he's like,
Wow.
just if you flip back and forth, it's just freaky. It's like,
It's
oh, hey, how you
movie.
doing? Yeah, it's quite something. Now, Vachon, we talked about before, definitely Hall of Famer, I believe. Goalie played 16 seasons in the NHL with the Canadians, Kings, Red Wings, Bruins. 353 wins, 293 losses, 128 ties, 3.00 goals against, .896 save percentage, 51 shutouts, 795 games played. Yes, he is in the Hall of Fame. He's a 2-time Cup winner and a 1-time Vezina winner. But still, with all those accomplishments, during his career, he was hit with this card. So just because you have some accomplishments doesn't mean you're spared the bad card Hall of Fame. But 160 graded copies of this card at PSA, no 10s. PSA 8 sold on August 22nd of this year for $125 US. So this might be in the running for like most expensive bad card that we'll look at. We'll see.
Who paid over $100 for this guy? Man, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if this card was in my PC. It's gonna jump out with little
Pretty
legs.
weird.
Yeah.
It is. It's just it's something. I don't know.
Well, even the orientation of his body is like you literally couldn't do that because the front of his neck is pointed one way, and then his head the other. It's like Exorcist kind of thing going on there.
It is. It's one that I saw, and I was just I think to myself over and over. It's like how did this get approved? And they said this looks great, looks fantastic. So, all right, we got one more card. And I just noticed somehow I messed up the picture, but I found it, so I'll have to put it in. 1991 Bowman, number 268. We have a Rick Wamsley. Let me throw it in here. There's our boy Rick.
What's wrong with that card? Oh.
So we have another card. Where they're just like, screw it. This is the pick we got. We're going with it. That's all we got to do. Like, we had one pick, the rest got lost. Maybe the film roll got overexposed. Something happened. So the obvious thing with this card is you have a player in front of Rick Wamsley, basically bent over, mooning the camera right at the front of the card. At least it's like out of focus a little, so it's kind of funny. But then the crazy thing is you have Rick Wamsley obviously in the back. He's the goalie if you're watching on video of the card. But then you have 4 other players that could be seen in this card. 1, 2, 3, and then there's a guy standing here with his back. So I showed this to my wife, and her first question was, who is this card for? Which of these guys on here? The guy mooning or these guys in the background or what? So again, another just very classic bad design. But I love it. I love this guy in the front. They're just like, yeah, we're just going to leave that. I don't know. We have to go to press. We got to get these printed. Got only certain printing time at the press. Let's do it.
Those Bowman cards are horrible, though. The card stock's horrible. The pictures are horrible. That whole set is disastrous.
Yeah, I'm sure this won't be the first time we'll have a Bowman card on this. So Rick Wamsley, goalie, played 13 seasons in the NHL with the Canadiens, Blues, Flames, and the Maple Leafs. 204 wins, 131 losses, 46 ties, with a 3.34 goals against average, a .881 save percentage, 12 shutouts in 407 games played. There are no graded copies of this card at PSA, and raw copies, I'm sure, are just given away. But if you want to buy one, go to eBay and get it for under $1. But yeah, this is the first round of 4. There are going to be some other ones, and there's some zingers out there. There's a lot of really bad airbrushed ones, but maybe we'll save those for all one segment, or else I'll just throw them in every once in a while. But this is what we're going with for sure. Bad card design, and then we'll throw in fun facts every once in a while.
All right, Phil, you got to pick the bad card of the week.
Yeah, that's the bad card of the week.
Why do I have to pick it?
I don't know, because you're in Canada.
I like the Glenn
Hamlin.
No, I like that one. Go next. Yeah, that's my
David
favorite
Farish.
card. Yeah, David Farish. That's my favorite one.
And then the Rochi Vachon.
Oh, but that's actually the worst one. The Rochi
Yeah.
Vachon is the worst one by a landslide.
Okay, this is the winner.
House of Wax right there, man.
All right.
Yeah, you have to make sure we don't see these before because that would be amazing. Great job, Troy.
That was awesome. Yeah, I had no idea what you were going to do, buddy. That was great.
All right, time to go back to Hobby Mount Rushmore.
All
Guys, we're
right.
at the last team in the Atlantic Division for Hobby Mount Rushmore series, and it's another good one. The Boston Bruins. Ever heard of them, Phil?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you haven't caught our show before, what we're attempting to do with our Hobby Mount Rushmore series is nominate the 4 Rushmore players for each team based on their career stats and accomplishments, meaning to their respective team and community. And then our wrinkle is adding the hobby market element to the traditional way that we look at Mount Rushmore candidates. The series gives me a lot of anxiety because I want to get it right. And that last spot often gets tough, and I him and ha, and yeah, it's great. So adding the hobby element is really the curveball in this, and that's what kind of makes the whole thing hard and also kind of fun, to go through as well. So Boston Bruins. Okay, here we go. The first Hobby Mount Rushmore nominee for the Bruins is a complete no-brainer. Of course, it's Blackhawks legend Bobby Orr. Okay, there we go. Bobby Orr.
Studio audience.
Yeah. So, Phil, you're familiar with Bobby Orr, correct?
Yeah, he's all right.
You've heard of him? Okay.
I've heard of him.
Most people in Canada heard of Bobby Orr?
He is a household name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like Robin or Alan Thicke? Bobby Orr? Who's more famous?
Alan's up there, but he's no Bobby. He's no
Okay.
Bobby. Yeah.
So Orr played 10 seasons with the Boston Bruins. 631 games played, is 25th all-time in franchise history. He scored 264 goals with the Bruins, which is 11th in franchise history. 888 points, good enough for 7th on the Bruins record books. He's the only defenseman to ever win the Lester B. Pearson Award, which is now the Ted Lindsay. So best player voted on by the players. He's also the only NHL player to ever win the Norris Trophy, Art Ross Trophy, Hart Trophy, and Conn Smythe Trophy in a single season, in which he did in 1969-70. He was the first NHL defenseman to score 30 goals in a season, and was also the first NHL defenseman to score 40 goals in a season. First player to ever record 100 assists in a single season, and 5th in league history in point per game average, and the highest for any defenseman with 1.393 points per game. He was an 8-time NHL First Team All-Star, 2-time Art Ross Trophy winner, 3-time Hart Trophy winner, one of only 9 players who have won that award at least 3 times, 8-time Norris Trophy Award winner, 2-time Conn Smythe, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, narrowly made it into the Hall of Fame. Okay. Number 4 is retired by the Boston Bruins, widely regarded as the greatest NHL defenseman of all time. Unless you want to throw Jake Sanderson in that mix or something like that, Phil, at this point? Or
We don't know yet. I'm not going to predict the future, but I like the way you're thinking.
All right, then looking at the Bobby Orr hobby market, year to date, over 10,000 Bobby Orr cards have sold on the secondary markets per card ladder sales history. 275 of those sales have been for more than $500 US, 148 for more than 1,000. The highest selling Bobby Orr card of all time is this 1966 Topps Orr rookie BVG 10 Pristine that sold for just $276,000 US by Heritage in February of 2021.
Was that COVID pricing? That's COVID pricing.
That 276, you said? Large?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big chunk of cash, man.
Do either of you want to commit hobby suicide and make an argument why Bobby Orr shouldn't be on the Bruins hobby Hall of Fame or hobby Mount Rushmore?
Nope. He's leading he's captain of the Rushmore. Yeah.
He's on there.
All right. So that.
Can we talk about him for one sec though? He didn't even play 1,000 games. I know he was close. He didn't.
He might have played 1,000. I only put on these stats for the franchise we're talking about.
No, I don't even think he played 800. I don't even think he played 800.
He played 888 with the Bruins.
Oh, he did?
No. That was 631 games played. He had 888 points. You're right. So
okay,
yeah.
Yeah. So is there a formula? Is he the best, pound for pound, for defensemen? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't have the vocabulary to explain what I'm saying here, but he didn't play that long. 12, 13 years? He got almost.
I think you would look at the 1.393 points per game, which has for a long time was the 4th best in NHL history amongst any player.
Okay.
But he moved to 5th because Connor McDavid is a little bit higher.
Okay, yeah, but he's a defenseman. That's what this is. This is wild, right? That's how great he was. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Well, think of this too. I'm starting to put more and more stock in the whole first team all-star selection thing, because you're basically one of the defense. It means you're one of the 2 best defensemen in the NHL, and he played 10 years in
Awesome,
with the Bruins.
2 with Chicago.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. And he was 8-time first team all-star, right? So it's I think the only year in his career he wasn't a first team all-star selection was his rookie year, and he was 2nd, something like that. Just
and
crazy.
He probably could have made it because back then the old farts would have been like, you got to pay your dues, bud.
You pay your dues.
Yeah.
So Bobby Orr, not a shock. Okay, next guy.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Phil Esposito.
Yeah.
Right. Had to add him to the Bruins hobby Mount Rushmore. So he played 9 of his 19 seasons with the Boston Bruins. Only played 625 games with the Bruins, so way less than half of the franchise leader, which is Johnny Bucyk. About the same amount that Orr played with the franchise. In 625 games, though, he would score 459 goals for the Bruins. That's 0.73 field goals per game with the team. That's pretty crazy. Also 4th in franchise history in points with 1,012. Over his career at the Bruins, he averaged 1.62 points per game, which again, pretty ridiculous. He won 5 Art Ross trophies with the Bruins, 2-time Hart Trophy winner, 2-time Lester B. Pearson winner, which is now the Ted Lindsay Award, 6-time NHL first All-Star team selections, and 2 Stanley Cup championships. His number 7 is retired by the Bruins. Of course, he's enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And looking at the hobby, 4,200 Esposito cards have sold year to date on the secondary markets per card ladder sales history. Is not bad for a vintage guy. 29 of those sales have been for more than 500 US. I think you can make actually a pretty good argument when you look at the totality of his career too, not just with the Bruins, that Esposito is one of the more underappreciated. We don't like to use the term undervalued because the market determines what value people have, but maybe underappreciated vintage players in our hobby. Like I said, given all his accomplishments. The highest selling Phil Esposito card to date is a 1965 Topps rookie SGC 10 that sold for $10,784 last November in 2023. So, any comments on Phil Esposito, guys?
I like that card. That pops. That's a nice 10.
That's a cool card.
Yeah.
Do you know much about him, Phil? Do you track him?
No, he's just. I wish I knew more because he seems extremely personable. He has a great first name. I'm of Greek descent. He's of Italian descent. I'm sure our immigrant families came to Canada around the same time. The Summit Series, he'll always be known for kind of calling out Canada.
Yeah.
After we didn't play that well, he said, "Why are you doing this to us? We're giving our best." It kind of worked out well for everybody in the end. But I really agree with your underappreciated term use. I feel like I should appreciate him more. I just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's something about him. I'm actually blown away at how many of his cards. You said 26 of his cards that were 500 and more.
29, right? Or
20. Yeah, that's
29. 29.
I
4,200 sales.
That's pretty impressive. I would have not thought that. So it's pretty good.
Here's the thing, and I had to look this up, but I remembered we talked about Esposito once, and this blew my mind. So he played 18 seasons. He only had 3 seasons where he scored less than 20 goals. I didn't realize. I mean, I remember that being he was a scorer. I didn't realize how much he scored. Like he's got
top 5 all time in goals, right?
Yeah, he's got
that's crazy.
66, 68. I mean, he's had some huge seasons.
I never think of that. Never ever put. He is a household name, but I think more for the Summit Series. I have to. I mean, hey, if you're a good listener, I'm sorry if you're not agreeing with my opinion, but when I think Esposito, I think Summit Series.
Hey, Louis, where does Esposito rank all time in goals? I just want to make sure I'm right there. All right, we're going to move on while Louis is looking that up. The next selection to the Bruins Hobby Mount Rushmore is Raymond Bourque. I'm kind of curious how many teams, when we get all the way through this in our Hobby Mount Rushmore series, will have 2 defensemen of the 4 spots. I think that maybe not even one more, maybe 1 more, 2 more, something like that. But pretty much impossible, I think, to leave Bourque off of the Bruins Hobby Mount Rushmore, even with Orr already there. Bourque played 21 of his 23 professional seasons in Boston. He's the franchise's all-time leader in games played with 1,518, all-time leader in assists with 1,111, and points 1,506. And man, so just the tiniest fraction under point per game average for defensemen. So 1,518 games played, 1,506 points. By the way, Bourque is 6th all-time in goals for Boston with 395. Won the Calder Memorial Trophy as a Bruin in 1980. A 5-time Norris Trophy winner. Was a 12-time NHL first-team All-Star selection with just Boston. He was named 1 more time with the Avs. So I think he's only behind Gordie Howe in total first-team All-Star selections in NHL history. 6-time NHL second-team All-Star. His number 77 is retired by Boston and Colorado, I believe. He's also in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And looking at the hobby, 5,588 Ray Bourque cards have sold in the secondary markets year-to-date per card ladder sales history. 29 of those sales for more than $500. And the highest-selling Ray Bourque card of all time is this 1980 O-Pee-Chee rookie PSA 10 that sold for $23,700 in January 2021.
Wow.
This card is always so fun. I've been thrown off forever about he looks like a porcelain doll. Like he hasn't seen the sun in 3 years.
Ugly. It's an ugly card. You can say it, buddy.
Yeah. And he's got some like tree trunks for legs too. Or I don't know if this the pads were that big, but yeah, that's a $23,000 all time high for this card.
Wild.
Is that a surprise? Ray Bourque a surprise to either of you guys, or were you counting on that one?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Yeah, you have to put him on there. You have to.
You have to. I mean, it's like, even though it's so funny, he's the one guy that I didn't know. Like, we get a lot of like stuff about like he's not nice, right? Is he one of our one of our nice guys? Which at the end of the day, hey, they can act how they want, I guess. But it's funny. I never knew that until I started this show and we talked to a lot of people. Everyone had a bad story of Ray Bourque, and
he signs a lot.
He signs a lot.
Yeah. You got $5 to sign your napkin.
Yeah. Well, it's like Yeah, he should be on here, but he's one of those guys where his newer card stuff is probably all relatively cheap, I would assume, because signs a lot.
Still a pretty big chase, though. 5,588 cards sold this year. It's not bad. And Louis did the quick look up on Phil Esposito. Esposito is still right now is 7th most goals in NHL history.
Okay.
So. Okay, the last guy's always the toughest, right? And this is one where this whole thing raises my blood pressure.
I know who I'd pick. I'll tell you that.
Well, who would you pick?
I would pick the big guy, the big one.
Chara?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Fine.
Well, here's who I went, and then we'll talk about some of we'll call them like runners up.
All right.
I had to go with Pasta, and some people might be thinking, what? But let me explain. So, again, last spot's always the trickiest one. Pastrnak, he's played all 9 of his NHL seasons in Boston. 674 regular season games with the team. Kind of, again, at that Esposito and Orr, right around the same amount. He scored 348 goals, added 379 assists for 727 points, so a point per game average of 1.08. For individual awards, there's really not much. He's a Rocket Richard Trophy winner in 2020, 2-time first team NHL All-Star, 1-time second team NHL All-Star selection. So if you're wondering, well, how does a guy who's 7th in goals and 10th in points in franchise record books doesn't have many individual awards and 0 Stanley Cups, how is he one of the 4 Boston Bruin Hobby Mount Rushmore nominees? Well, it's because, like Troy, like you said, or maybe it's you, maybe not. It's a Hobby Mount Rushmore.
Yes. And
Pastrnak has a pretty strong hobby chase. And definitely maybe some of the guys who are a little bit more accomplished that we'll talk about in a minute, he has a bigger hobby sort of presence than they do. So year to date, more than 6,500 Pasta cards have sold in the secondary markets per card letter sales history. That includes 105 sales of more than $500 US. And, you know, again, as far as hobby chase goes, the only Bruins players who beat out Pasta is Orr. So he's got really the second highest hobby chase of any Boston Bruins player I could find. And the highest selling David Pastrnak card to date is a 2014-15, the Cup Gold RP at a 10. That sold for $4,779 US last November. So Phil, your face is all squished up. So
yeah, well, I like that card. That's a very nice Pasta card. But I listen, I know numbers don't lie. I know math is objective. I'm taking Pasta off and I'm putting Chara on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most Bruins fans would agree with me. Educated ones, not these 18, 19
Well, I think the problem with Chara is his hobby is not the greatest.
Yeah, I know.
But from a Bruins fans love perspective, I agree 100%. He's on there, I think. But the hobby element, I don't think he gets it.
No,
I want to go through 2 other considerations really quick that if it was just a hockey Mount Rushmore, I think they would be ahead of both these guys would be ahead of Pasta. Probably the biggest snub and maybe the biggest apology needs to go to Johnny Busick.
Yeah.
So tell Johnny you're sorry, Troy.
Yeah, I'm the one. So now everyone knows we don't make it a requirement that you need a goalie. I know we kind of before we're like, oh, you need a goalie, right? We need a goalie. Not anymore, baby.
Andy Moog, put him in there.
Well, look at Busick's accomplishment. He's second all time in games played for the Bruins with 1,436. First all time in goals, 554. Second all time in assists, 794. First all time in points in Bruins history with 1,339. No, he's second. Sorry, because Bork has more points. 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Lady Byng winner. Again, would probably be in the regular Bruins Mount Rushmore, but this is the Bruins hobby Mount Rushmore, and there's really not much of a hobby market for Johnny Busick. About 2,000 Busick cards have sold in the secondary markets year to date. 10 of those sales for more than $500 US. So, yeah, again, hobby Mount Rushmore just didn't make the cut. And then the other guy, Troy, that I'm actually a little bit more surprised, Phil, that I think more like diehard Bruins fans would be advocating for Patrice Bergeron, even over Zdeno Chara.
He's boring.
Again, another beloved Boston Bruin that Couldn't find room for her on the Hobby Mount Rushmore. Bergeron played 18 seasons with the Bruins, third all-time in goals, 427, third all-time in points, 1,040, six-time Selke Trophy winner, Mark Messier Leadership Award winner, King Clancy Trophy winner, Stanley Cup champion, beloved by everyone, not just quite, except the hobby, because there's really
the hobby hates Selke winners. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, no kidding, Troy. That's actually a good point. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. None.
Yeah. He doesn't have a horrible hobby market. 4,700 cards sold year to date, 50 sales, more than 500. But again, you compare that to, especially the higher end of Pasta. He's got like half of the $500 more sales that Pasta does. So that's why I chose Pasta over those guys. Again, it would be nice if there was like sometimes like 6 busts on the Hobby Mount Rushmore, unless we did the Wild, because we'll have
two.
The fans have to go up there.
Fans.
The fans.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? How did we do? Bruins, Hobby Mount Rushmore.
Go ahead, Troy.
I was gonna say I think Phil's onto something with Chara. I just don't think the hobby piece. I could probably move Busek up to Pasta spot, but that's just because I'm a goalie guy and I'm nostalgic for old goalies. And Pasta's he's the one that never signed, right? He didn't sign a lot. So
Busek's not a goalie.
Or sorry, what was I? Sorry, I'm thinking.
I thought you said did Pasta sign a lot? Why'd you say?
No. I said Johnny Busek. I'm like, we need a goalie, and I was like,
oh,
I totally was. Who's I thinking of? Man, I'm thinking of
Tim Thomas.
Maybe Louis put Tim Thomas in. I think that was thinking of him, but that would put him.
Yeah, Louis got in your brain there.
Never mind. I got
psychopath. I love him.
My brains got twisted. My wires got crossed. Anyways, Busek. Even though he's not a goalie, I could put him up there. But I'm fine with Pasta. I think the argument laid out for Pasta is fine. And then I was trying to say, it's like Pasta never signs, right? So it's like his values will always be a little bit inflated because of that.
I think this Pasternak thing shows how frustrating the hobby can be, because it makes no sense. He's never even won a cup. Bergeron's won cups. Charo's won cups, but yet Pasta's cards are going crazy. I'm telling you, man.
Because he scores 50 goals, Phil, and that's what drives the hobby.
All right, I see your points. I agree with you, Josh. You have changed my mind for the hobby Mount Rushmore, but I don't like it.
Remember, Phil, I was given this world. I didn't make it.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, right?
Oh.
Should we just go angry who I'm trying to think of for goalie? Why did I think?
I thought it was Tim Thomas. Didn't we say it was?
Well, it might have been Tim Thomas. I just like Tim Thomas because he chased people down.
Reggie Lemelin.
Oh, I want a show of us just naming off the most random 80s and 90s players we can figure out.
All right, so that wraps up the Atlantic Division. Now we got to figure out where we go next.
Cheevers. I was thinking like Cheevers. That's what I probably was thinking of. Sorry.
I'm going to recommend that we switch to the Western Conference next and do either the Central or Pacific Division. Phil, do you feel strongly about either of those?
No, all the good ones are done. I'll just troll the rest of them, and I'll just
Should we just keep doing the Maple Leafs over and over again?
I'd be fine with that as long as I can hoot and holler.
All right. What do you think, Troy? You can pick.
So what do we've done? Atlantic. What else did we do?
So it's 3 left, and I just thought we'd switch to the Western Conference and kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, let's do
the Kings. That would be good.
Let's do Pacific. Okay. Because I want to keep the Central for last, because that's kind of like our group, right? The Wild will be in there and stuff. Yeah. Let's keep that.
People can watch us be depressed over our team. That's always good comedy, depression. All right. Well, so you want to start with the Kings? You want to start with the banger, Phil? Is that what you want to do?
I thought Kings would be good. Yeah,
let's do Kings.
All right. Next one will be the Kings then. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. We're grateful for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live. You can go. How many cards are available, Troy?
We have a whopping, I think it was over 2,000. Just to say,
what?
Right? 1,863. Sorry, I was close.
People are holding though. People are holding, man. I didn't see. Listen, it's a great auction this week, but you can tell it's the beginning of the season. Everyone wants to see how the beginning is going to go, because there's some bigger cards I think aren't in there sometimes.
Yeah, there's still all those Crosby. Someone's still dumping Crosby.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
still Crosby's all over the place.
I think 1,800 cards is a ton. But yeah, I get your point. You're probably right, Phil. That people are still holding 2. Well, do yourself a giant hobby favor. Head to slapsharks.com. See more than 1,800, as Troy has let us know, cards available this week to bid on, and maybe you could own. Maybe you could own all of them. Be like Troy. He's got a lot of money. Troy, myself, and Philster. Do you like Philster? Part of me thinks you're going to hate that. Yeah.
Don't call me that, please.
Troy, myself, and the Philster. The Philster. That's what it is. The Philster.
I thought you asked me a question and I answered it and you ignored it.
No, it's just like what's the movie with Bill Murray? Stripes. Settle down, Francis. After he tells him not to call him Francis.
Oh,
no one. No.
Well, we've each.
Oh.
I haven't seen the movie in so long.
It's a long time. I watched it a lot.
Listeners, jump on them. Stripes game attack.
You have to watch that on your like 6,000K TV or whatever
77-inch.
All right. Settle down. Well, we each looked through the auction. We've contemplated, we've meditated, and chosen a couple of our favorites from this week because he gets mad if we don't let him go first. Troy, tell the hobby what your favorites are in this week's Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction.
All right, first one right here, Grant Fuhr, 2013 Upper Deck the Cup. Grant Fuhr emblems of endorsement patch auto out of 15. Listen, it's a fantastic looking card. Grant Fuhr is awesome. Grant Fuhr's signature is actually pretty good here. You know, as the newer ones come out and he's still signing, you can tell he's getting up there. Little old, not as clean, but this one's a really nice clean one. I love the patches in this thing. Tons of breaks, strings hanging off. Right up my alley. So
old jersey patches are way better than modern jersey patches.
Maybe depends on what the patch is. Like if it's the colors, the stripes, I think I like the old stuff. But when it's the actual patch, I like the new ones. So pretty.
I just like how you can tell that it's like super old.
Yeah.
Looks like smelly. Smell it.
It does look smelly.
Smell it. Yeah.
But just look at. I mean, look at the helmet, the Oilers gear, the orange Sherwood stick. Now, when I played, I had at one point for a year or two a fluorescent orange Montreal goalie stick. Do you remember Montreal goalie sticks? They were crazy. Kari Taco from Our Stars had one. They were bright orange. They were fantastic. Okay, that's my first card. Great card. Go bid on it. Second card, right here. Once I saw it, Louis, I saw throwing his up, showing us a copy on Behind the Scenes. 2004 Upper Deck, Mike Modano, Young Guns legend. ESA 10. I love this card because it's Young Modano in a North Stars jersey. It's Young Guns legend. I mean, all these different kind of Young Guns throwback retro stuff they've kind of done. I like this one. I think it's really cool. I love the equipment he's got, the Easton stick, Easton gloves. It's fantastic.
Good picks, Troy.
Thank you.
Well, my favorites. The first one I picked is a 2019 Upper Deck Clear Cut Cale Makar Black and Amber.
I wanted this
auto
one.
PSA 9. So you like this one too because you swore at me in our notes. So
yeah, I did swear at you in the notes because I like went to the Slab Sharks like, oh, this is awesome. I go to put it in, it's like that you already had it. I was like, oh.
Wouldn't like Makar Black and Amber kind of sounds like a beer name, doesn't
it? I think it looks cool. It's like it's a really nice looking card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few clear cut cards I really like. So beautiful card. Big fan of gold or silver marker autos on black backgrounds. And then the second one I picked is a 2022-23 SP Authentic Wyatt Johnston Retro Future Watch Auto at a $3.99. It's raw. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of the retros, but I really like the design of this one. And, if you don't have they're always a lot cheaper than the True Rookie out of $9.99s. And so if you want kind of a cool Wyatt Johnston rookie or auto, you don't have the True Rookie Future Watch Auto budget. I don't know. I think it's a good option. I just like the design. Bill.
Yes, sir.
What are your favorites?
My favorites are, which one are you putting up first? Okay, yeah. So I don't really like Ultimate that much, but I picked this card because it's an Oilers card. It's Evan Bouchard. And like people like Zach Hyman and all the other Oilers, they get no love because every time I see this card, I'm like, oh, it's a McDavid. Oh, it's not a McDavid. And I never read the name. I just keep going. So this is a shout out to all the people collecting non-McDavid Oiler cards. Yeah, so that card's for you. All right, next.
Wait. If you're into patch like breaks, it's like 7. Crazy.
Yeah, it's a nice card. Awesome. It's a really nice card. If you're an Evan Bouchard fan, that's a great card. Oh, yeah. So I forget what this card is, but you're looking at an Allure Connor Bedard rookie card.
Yeah, Red Rainbow.
Thank you, Troy. Red Rainbow. So this week I went to my LCS, local coin shop or card shop. and I walked by. I normally don't look at the rest of the showcase, but this card, it was like an omen, like, and it was a yellow taxi, Allure Bedard card. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And then the kid behind the counter pulled it out. I mean, it was $200. I didn't buy it, but what a phenomenal manufactured hockey card. Good job, Billy, and good job, Upper Deck. It is such a crisp, excellent card. I also found out you don't get it in a hobby box. You get them in blasters, the yellow taxis.
Yeah, yellow taxis.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, I might look. I'm a little stretched thin right now. I'm making some bad decisions, but I'm going to really look into this Allure rookie parallel insert set. Is that how you say it? Rookie.
Yeah, but I want to hear more about your bad decisions because now you piqued my
interest. Oh, don't worry. There's one coming up later. Anyways, yeah. No, that's fine. That's I
married?
No, yeah, no. I'm never getting married. No, never. I will be compatible with another human that's female at some point. That'd be great, but no silly paperwork to the government. Listen, you're distracting me, man. Yeah, back to the Allures. I want to find out how many. Like, are there 8 parallel inserts of all the rookies? Is there like a 101? I probably should have paid attention when you're doing the Allure thing. You know,
there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, Allure's got some parallels.
Good listener, don't sleep on Allure. As an old fart card snob myself, I'm trying to leave some doors open so I can look into them later. These Allure cards are definitely a door you should prop open for yourself. At least have a look. The Expo's coming up. Put them in hand. I'm telling you, they're gonna pop out of your hands. They're amazing.
Are you adopting a pony? What's your bad decision?
A pony? No, I almost got a turtle. I want our tortoise. I really wanted a tortoise, but I
like turtles.
No, you want a tortoise. They're dry. You don't want a turtle. They're smelly. Unless it's a snapper. They're great, man. Yeah, they're fun.
Oh, well, if you're a Canadian hockey cards collector like Phil, and you're not currently using Slab Shark's eBay consignment services, well, we really think you might want to consider it. It's kind of a no-brainer. They take all the hassle and stress out of selling your cards on eBay. They take great photos, handle your listings for you, answer any buyer questions, hunt down payment for the winners, ship to both Canada and the US, and most importantly, handle any post-sale issues. But it even gets better, Phil. Your cards get included in their extremely popular weekly eBay auctions where the big, irrational spenders in the hobby like Phil go. And that's a good thing when you're selling your cards. For complete consignment information, including payout rates, and to get the process started today, head to slapsharks.com. And if you haven't downloaded their app, you should do that too. Hobby news.
Hobby news.
Information from the community.
There you go.
All right. Information. All right, Troy, you got are we expanding or what?
All right, here we go. So we kind of mentioned this a couple shows ago when we said on, when was it? September 10th, Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly, who I'm not going to put in my picture. I had to put Gary Bettman up there yapping about something, but Bill Daly asked about expansion in the NHL, and he stated, I wouldn't say we're in the expansion process. I wouldn't even say expansion is a priority. Well, lo and behold, on September 19th, Kevin Weeks and Andy Strickland both tweeted out that NHL owners will meet very soon to approve the opening of expansion, to get teams submit bids, all that fun stuff. So Bill Daly kind of talking out the side of his mouth, but it sounds like expansion is opening up, and it will be very interesting because Weeks mentioned that he believes the NHL will expand between 32 to 36 teams, right? Or we have 32 teams right now. They're going to go either 34 or 36 is what he's basically getting at. So leading cities to land an expansion franchise. And I just chime in with your thoughts from all the pundits and rumor mill sites. We have Houston, which is being led by Houston Rockets owner Tillman. Oh boy, Fertitta. Yeah. And that's Houston's obviously one that's getting a lot of traction. They're one of the leaders. And then the second one, which I will never understand this, Atlanta, which is being led by billionaire Vernon Krause. And so those are the two leading candidates right now, according to people, Houston and Atlanta. So Atlanta, I guess, gets another shot. Or third shot, right? I think they've had 2 franchises move out of there. Atlanta, was it the Flames?
The Flames and Thrashers. Yeah, Atlanta
Thrashers.
Flames and Thrashers, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Other franchises have failed in different cities and then succeeded. So it happens. But
Quebec City, man.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into Quebec City. So Houston, I could probably see. If you want to expand hockey, and you want to get another Southern team, Houston makes sense. They've had the minor leagues down there. Houston Aeros were a wild franchise, huge market, massive market. I mean, were they top 5 probably for
one of the biggest media markets?
Metro areas. So Houston, I think, makes sense to me. Atlanta, I'm not so sure about. But then obviously we've had other cities in the mix. And if you get to 36 teams, you're going to need obviously 4 expansion teams. So if they went to 36, some other candidates being named are Kansas City, which is, I guess in Kansas, there's Kansas City, Missouri, and there's Kansas City, Kansas, right? I think they're in the, I don't know, prime Missouri. Portland, Oregon, which I would love it so much if Portland got a hockey team, but with Seattle, I don't know how you make that work. They're, within 4 hours of each other. We have it on the East Coast. We have precedents where teams can succeed next to each other. And then the third one is obviously Quebec City is the other one that's been mentioned. I thought at one point Hamilton was always brought up, but for having like Toronto having a second team, I always thought Hamilton was mentioned. But the 3 I in the article that when it came out were Kansas City, Portland, and Quebec City are the 3, like we'll call them the outsiders.
Very disappointing, man. This is Cole Hasselhoff and I went to Quebec City last year. They have a great barn. I think it holds 14,500. Very cozy. The city of Quebec is one of the most beautiful towns I have ever been in. And I don't speak any French. I mean, I can get by barely, and be silly about it. But any Anglophone can go to Quebec City. We had one negative encounter. That city is ready for its hockey. It is such an absolute spit in the face of that city to talk about Kansas City before Quebec City. It's ridiculous.
Here's the problem, I understand that, but the NHL, this is where we're getting into. They've basically straight up said they want to grow the game in the U.S. more, and they don't have a lot of appetite, we'll say, to add an 8th Canadian team. Plus, with taxes, they like the owners. They don't like Canada for the taxes, and the players don't like Canada for the taxes. So until Canada figures something out, I don't see another.
Well, we can't because we have weak people making horrible decisions, and then strong people have to fix it. It's going to take 30 years. 30 years to fix this mess.
And here's the other thing too: we've gotten 2 expansion teams in the last 5 years. Seattle, Vegas, both have been, by all means or intents and purposes, have been huge successes. So again, growing the game in the U.S. with 2 successful expansion franchises already, I think that just leads it to being 2 U.S. teams for now.
Hamilton's ready too, by the way. Hamilton, if you're like, you're from Hamilton, so you're from Toronto, they'll kill you. They will tell you know what I mean? They will not have any of that. I love Hamilton. Great.
You make it sound like a warm place.
I thrive in areas like that. It's a blue collar, hardworking town, and play hard, work hard, man. I love Hamilton. Big shout out.
I want to think of team names. Can we think of team names?
I have questions first that I want to ask Phil. So Quebec City seems like the logical choice, like the first choice.
Yes.
But it also seems like Gary Bettman has something against that too.
I think the whole NHL has something. I do not think the NHL front offices with Daly, Bettman, all the people in charge, I don't think they'll let Quebec City happen.
Yeah, heaven forbid passion wins. You know what I mean? Like move the decimal point a little bit, and the corporate thing is insane, man. Every quarter has to be better than the one before it. Get out of here.
Yeah. Beyond Quebec City and Hamilton, are there any other viable Canadian cities where you could put an NHL team in?
Maybe Nova Scotia, but that's far out, man. Maybe Saskatoon. I've never been to Saskatchewan though. I don't know. I don't know. I want all my Canadian provinces to have a hockey team, but I think Nova Scotia could do it. Halifax could definitely have a team, but that's pretty far out.
Will Canadians lose their mind if the NHL adds 4 teams and 0 are in Canada?
Yes, that's spit in the face, and especially for Quebec City. Especially for Quebec. And I'm from Ottawa, man. I have no loyalties to Quebec City in any way, shape, or form. And I fell in love with that town. I romanticize
Quebec,
it all the time.
Quebec and Hamilton would be 8 and 9. That would give you your 9 top.
And they would thrive, boys. They would thrive. You would have a passion. In Hamilton, it would be a bunch of me's, by a little less, a little more, but that might not be great. But they would thrive. The passion in both those towns is phenomenal, man. And that's what you want. You want some battles. Imagine Imagine a Hamilton team, the fight against Toronto, the beef they would have. Oh, it'd be great. Ugh, what a waste.
Could you stomach? Okay, Trey, now we'll get into your topic a little bit. I want to start out a question for
the real
Phil.
important stuff. Let's think.
Yeah, the real important stuff. Could you stomach, Phil, Quebec getting a team and it not be in the Nordiques? Because doesn't Colorado still own the name?
Yeah, I would. That'd be fine. That'd be okay. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it would be a shame. I'd love it to be the Nordiques, but just get it in there, man. Just get that town is ready for hockey. This country is ready for another team. 2 more teams. Come on, man. It's crazy. Houston. Listen, I get it. Houston, but Kansas, Portland. What's Clyde Drexler going to be an owner?
Well, Portland Winterhawks. Portland Winterhawks are huge.
Well, good for them. Quebec would be bigger. Quebec would be bigger, man.
Okay, so Troy, you said Portland Winterhawks. Was that a? I didn't know
minor league team. I wonder if like Seattle used to have a pro team, right, back in the 30s or something, and I never know if Portland had one of those teams either. Kansas City used to have a pro team too.
I want the Vancouver Millionaires.
There you go.
How about we bring back the Renfrew Creamery Kings? Bill, there we could have a team in Canada.
Yeah, Renfrew is just 45 minutes from me, not even.
Okay. All right, Troy, you got any other team names you want to throw out there? Or?
No, I can't think of any more. I was trying to think if anyone had fun ones. Like Portland would have to be something like Portland Rippers or something, because Portland's nickname's Rip City, but that's a basketball term. But I still think Rippers would be fun, but you probably can't because it's connotation of killing. Houston Robbers. I don't know.
What, Ripper? Oh, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
I think other things when I go.
No, that's Ripper. London, but I always they get so worried about that stuff now. But
okay, I want to ask you this again, even though but get Phil's perspective too. Maybe we'll start with Phil then. Phil, are you worried at all if the NHL goes from 32 to 36 teams about a talent issue, watering it down, finding enough goalies to stop a puck kind of thing?
I think the talent's pretty good right now. I think they could scale up. I think they could. Okay. Yeah.
Plus the amount of kids coming in that are younger and skillful. I think you're right, Phil. The player pool, I'm not worried about the player pool.
Yeah, no.
Especially with colleges adding more Division I hockey programs. I think in Canada, obviously being a feeder system, I think we'll be fine on the talent.
Yeah, America's stepped it up like crazy, man. I mean, your citizens are 30-1 to ours. I think we'll be okay.
Did they give you any indication in what you read, Troy, about like when all this could go down?
No. They never say that. They just
probably not anytime super
soon. It's not anytime. It's not going to be. Yeah, they'll have to open it up, go through. I mean, look how long it took with all the bidding, with like when Snoop Dogg was in it, and all that stuff, and then at the end of the day too, they can go through all this stuff, and the NHL can say, no, we're not ready yet, and back to square one.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Next story. So apparently, Mo Seider caught Thursday's Hockey Cards Gongshow Podcast, learned that his good buddy Lucas Raymond got a new big deal from the Detroit Red Wings. Mm-hmm. And I actually heard through the grapevine, had some sources, now that, we're hockey card journalists, that things got a little hairy around the Red Wings offices there. And actually, I think Seider was mic'd up when he heard the news. Just, I don't know if they're doing promo media stuff or whatever. And they caught the exact time he heard about Raymond's new contract, and the soundbite was leaked. Here it is.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he was very emotional about Raymond getting paid before him. Well, so the Wings, they got to it, didn't waste much time. They signed Mo Seider as well to a 7-year, $60 million contract, average annual value of $8.55 million. Now that locks up the pair of young building blocks for the next, 7-8 years. Seider is just 23, was 6th overall pick by the Red Wings in 2019 NHL entry draft. He was the Calder Trophy winner in 2022. Not a huge goal scorer, but a terrific all-around defenseman. This new contract, this is the new contract that every young player that has even like a sniff of good play seems to get, right? It's the 8x8, right? He had 20 goals, sign him to $8 million a year for the next 8 years, right? That's like the reflex now in the NHL. But I would say Seider is one of the guys that is definitely worth it. He's a 2021-22 Young Guns, PSA 10 pop, 35-66, so pretty high population, 63% gem rate. Let's hope for $60 US on September 19th. up 14% in the past month, up 9% in the past 6 months. So, you big Mo Seider guy, Phil?
Yeah, he's good. I like him. I like him and Raymond. They're good.
Mm-hmm. And then I just had I probably shouldn't do this because I'm going to get hate, but I can't help myself. A real quick sort of little note here. And it's just a question for you guys. Is the NHL doing Ovi dirty, or am I just reading too much into things?
What do you? I don't get the caption. Ovechkin still hungry, heading to get his goals. He's not going to do it.
That was kind of a weight joke.
Oh, I got it right over my head.
Troy, you're on mute.
I have no comment.
Troy doesn't want the hate again.
Why did people message? What happened? No, I didn't get any Ovechkin hate. I get Kucherov hate.
No, the funny thing is, right? What happens? Like we talked about this, and I totally understand. It's like when you like have a favorite player, or maybe you've invested a lot of money, you can get a little sensitive about it. And I love Ovi. I mean, he's like actually one of the guys I PC. Like I'm a huge Ovi fan, but I just saw that, and it's like, can you zoom in again, Troy? Because
they're gaslighting you or something.
No, I just saw it and I just couldn't pass it up. I just
with all the pictures coming out in the summer, it's like, could you chose a better headline than like still hungry and eating? And
he's not hungry. He's eating a lot of food.
I'm sure he's gonna come to camp though and just be like,
I'll be shredded and he'll score 80 goals and I'll look stupid. But I already do look stupid, so it doesn't matter. Okay, now we can move on. We're going to pick up our 2024-25 preview series we're going to talk about some make or break hobby seasons. And these are players who, like I said, from the hobby perspective, there's kind of a lot maybe on the line this season. And the whole idea here is to give us a couple guys to think about how this could end up being a pivotal season for them. Also try to pick guys that are maybe at this make or break point for different reasons, right? Because I think when we think of like make or break, it's guys that have maybe haven't lived up to expectations. And it's like, well, now you're kind of like we talked about Laffy for a couple years, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like now or never, or things going to click. So there's a couple like that people are like, huh? But you're just going to have to roll with me on it. So I have 4 players that I think this will be a pivotal season for their hobby status. And we're going to start with maybe, the more obvious side. And that's with Trevor Zegras. He was once the belle of the ball in the hobby, Troy. Yeah. The money was flowing into Zegras' cards, and now the newly mulleted Ducks forward, maybe at a make or break point for the hobby this season. Are any of you guys surprised he didn't get dealt at the end of last year, this summer? Yes. I thought for sure he was going to be gone.
Yes.
From Anaheim.
So I haven't seen anything like publicly, but is he kind of a pain behind the scenes? Is that the?
Oh my goodness! I thought.
I know he's like a what's the word? Cocky and arrogant, which is I'm fine with. But when you do that, maybe not in the best situations to your teammates, that can kind of rub people the wrong way. I was curious, like
immature is the word that I
immature.
Okay,
absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Zegras finished his rookie year in 2021-22 with a very impressive 23 goals and 61 points. Of course, he has a flashy play style and a good personality for the hobby. And by the time his 2021-22 Young Guns was released, there was a ton of hype, right? People were going nuts for his cards. If you look at the calendar year of 2022 alone, there was 145 public sales of Zegras cards for more than 500 US, including this Young Guns High Gloss PSA 10 that sold for a whopping $11,500 US.
What? $11,000. I'm sorry, Josh.
In September 2022. Also, in April of that year, his Young Guns PSA 10 would hit an all-time high of $650 US. So he had a really good rookie year. He was marginally better in 2022-23, putting up 23 goals, and ended up with 4 more points, so 65. But it was towards the end of last season, and definitely, or it was towards the end of that season, and definitely through last offseason, where Zegras' career started to get, let's call it a little squirrely.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like Anaheim really wanted him, because remember his contract was up, and they lowball. I mean, they offered him like, what, $2 million or something like that? Like crazy for a guy with that. We just talked about all these guys are getting 8x8s, and they were like, how about a year and $2 million? right? So, and then there was some not nice. Like I felt like Anaheim was pretty vocal about kind of talking about what they didn't like about him too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
In that whole deal there, and that's where you start to hear rumblings about like his defensive effort, playing a complete game, the talk of immaturity that would he fit in Anaheim. Again, it didn't seem like there were too many warm and fuzzies between the two camps.
Is that Pat Verbeek? Is that the GM there?
Yeah, and I think he was new, like he came in right at the time.
Yeah.
So Zegras did eventually sign with the Ducks, but then there's all kind of bad blood, hurt feelings. And he gets hurt last year, plays 31 games, scores 6 goals, and totals 15 points all last season, which is not, when you're dropping Phil 11,500 on a Young Guns, that's rough. So there was once like all the hobby momentum in the world, and now it feels like, is there any left? Right. And so I kind of feel like he's at a crossroads. Is he going to be a star player in the NHL or a guy who had a little bit of talent and some flair that people got excited about, but then flamed out? And maybe this season will help answer that question. So I looked up on FanDuel, and he's plus 500 to score 30 or more goals this year. So that's like Vegas saying it ain't going to happen. Right? Because that's a huge underdog. I mean, that's
That's actually I might want to bet that.
You think so? So are you more
I can't stand the kid. I can't stand. I saw an interview. It all changed for me in one. He got benched about a year ago. I don't think it was last season. I think it was the season before. He got benched for 2 games and a third period, something like that. I saw an interview, a local arena interview about that. He had this poop grin on his face the whole time, and he was just saying what the media department clearly told him to say. Or it seemed like that anyways, like, I need to do better. But he's an arrogant little turd, and immature is the bang on word. If he doesn't mature, he's out. He's out. Look at Sean Avery. He got run out of the league. Maybe Zegras wants to go be a male model instead.
Zoolander?
Yeah.
I always have to, when you read the odds, I always have to do the math, or I looked it up. So they're saying 16.7% chance of him getting 30 or more goals. That's what plus 500 equals.
Yeah, well, I think the flip side of your argument, Phil, is you've got guys like Jack Hughes is his friend who they've been working out together and kind of says that he's going to make a big comeback. So I think who knows, but this could be a very pivotal season. And for his career and kind of star trajectory to get back on track, that we'd want to see something, 30, 35 goals for him at this point. So Zegras is a 2021-22 Young Guns, PSA 10, top 1,299, which seems low, but only a 29% gem rate. So a lot of cards have been graded. Last sold for $80 on September 10th. $80.
Yeah.
Up 8% in the past month, but still down 14% in the past 6 months. So,
those odds. Phil, I'm with you, man. I'm like, if you think, run your models, and if you think there's a greater than 18%, whatever I said, 18%,
the talent's there. The talent's there. He's just got to grow up, man. Like, for the lack of a better term.
Okay, here's the next one. Now, this is where people might be a little confused at first, but I think you'll all come around. So I'm going to throw Zegras' buddy Jack Hughes in the mix for make or break here. And you like I said, you might be thinking, hold on. Hughes already has a big time hobby market. He does. But what I think could be make or break for Hughes this season is the potential ascension into that top tier, that hobby elite. So we're talking on the same level as Austin Matthews, Connor Bedard, McDavid, Crosby, and Ovechkin. I've had him and like Cale Makar as sort of the next man up for having a chance to break into that top tier for the last year or so. I don't know. Do you guys look at him that way? Do you kind of see him on the very top of the second tier?
Yeah, he's the real deal, man. I mean, he had over 40 goals 2 years ago, I think. It was just insane. Yeah, he's the real deal.
And he's still very young at 23, but it's been the injuries. Gosh, you look into this guy and it's like, man, have they held his career back. So he's played parts of 5 seasons already, only played 70 or more games once.
Ugh.
So here's his career games played by season: 61, 56, 49, 78, and 62. Now, one of those years is like the COVID year, so they didn't play as many games, so you got to balance that out. But still, he typically misses about a quarter of the season.
Oof.
Yeah, and he's coming
Every
off
year.
shoulder surgery, right? Is that what he had?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And don't they say the number one ability in pro sports is availability? Right.
Yep.
That's the cliche.
Oh, that's
and when
good.
he's healthy, he's awesome. When Hughes did play 78 games in 2022-23, like you said, Phil, he scored 43 goals, totaled 99 points, and his hobby market went bananas for a bit.
Yep.
At the start of last season, his Young Guns PSA 10 hit an all-time high of $443. Hobby expectations were at a fever pitch. So if you look at like January 1 of 2023 through the start of last season, he was pretty much the big hobby guy. He had 360 sales of more than 500 US, 165 sales greater than 1,000, and 18 sales greater than 5,000. Then last season, as the injuries hit again, he played 62 games, scored 27 goals, 74 points. And of course, the Devils missed the playoffs. His production took a big hit, and the hobby market took a little bit of a hit too. So when you look at kind of now the next year's comparison, so the first of this year through coming on the start of the season, we have 190 Jack Hughes cards have sold for 500 US or more. That's down from 360 the prior season. So just again, not the same amount of hype. Heading into the season, Hughes 2019-20 Young Guns PSA 10 popped 54.65 with a 74% gem rate, less sold for $215 US on September 16th. It's down 4% in the past month, down 6% in the past 6 months. So again, that's why where I'm putting him at make or break is, could we maybe view him in the hobby on that like Austin Matthews level if he has a tremendous season this year? Or will he just be kind of where he is in that second tier group? What do you guys think about Hughes?
Man, I don't know. This guy, I am so worried about the injury stuff, and shoulders are one of those things that just never go away. They always seem to stick around. Shoulder surgeries always seem to come back to haunt you, even though it'll be 4 to 5 years. But he has to have obviously he has to have a big season to get back in or be in that top elite discussion. Otherwise, if it's another 30 goal season, 25 goal season, it's middle, second tier.
Any final thoughts on Jack Hughes, Phil?
He stays healthy, he'll rock it out. Like you said, he played. You said he missed 4 games 2 years ago.
Yeah, 78 games played.
Yeah, so that's okay. So that's the year he got over 40, right? Would you say 40, 42,
43 goals?
Yeah, he stays healthy. Make it to the finals, maybe. He'll get blue team captain status.
Mm-hmm.
He's already missed. I mean, I can just kind of dummy it a full season in games from injuries over his 5 years.
All right, the next guy I put on this list is Elias Pettersson. So if you remember through the first half of last season, it looked like he had kind of reached that star potential.
Mm-hmm.
He had gained the weight, got more physical, used the ridiculous flex stick to prove how strong he is now. And then you look like through the end of January, he was scoring 1.3 points per game. He had 64 points in 49 games played, off to definitely a career start. But then through the remainder of the season, his production really fell off, and he wasn't much of a factor in the playoffs for Vancouver. He scored just 1 goal and had 6 points in 13 playoff games. And it's come out he had a bit of a knee injury towards the second half of last season that probably did affect his performance. So he went from 39 goals and 102 points, 39 goals and 102 points in the 2022-23 season to just 34 goals, 89 points last season. After a 102-point season and then following up with the blistering first half, it felt like Pettersson, like I said, it sort of ascended now into that, that hobby star status. And now it's kind of like he's back on the bubble again. The scary part, though, looking into this year is that his knee injury, they're saying is tendonitis, and apparently hasn't completely healed yet. So he's still dealing with it coming into camp. So you'd hate to see that linger into 2024-25. But he is 25 years old. He's played 6 NHL seasons. Last November, Pettersson's Young Guns PSA 10 hit an all-time high of $226. And the hobby, again, was starting to make a run on his key cards. Now looking at his 2018 Young Guns PSA 10, it's a pop 2,677. 76% germ rate, less over 129 US. Down 3% in the past month, down 19% in the past 6 months. So what kind of player is he going to be? Again, it comes down to that. And I think now, too, when you're sort of gauging, can he be a hobby star? You have to throw down the Quinn Hughes factor, too. Will Quinn Hughes maybe outshine him a little bit on his own team? I don't know, Phil, are you a Pettersson guy?
The games are on too late. I never catch Vancouver games. They're on way too late. But I thought he was healthy as a horse. I didn't know he had that lagging knee injury. I thought he was kind of known for.
He still played. Yeah, he played, but it's
he plays full seasons, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
What about you, Troy? What do you think?
I'm like Phil. I don't watch Vancouver enough to have an opinion. I know they play the Wild, but it's it's just like I just remember him last year. He just started off so awesome, and then it just kind of fell apart. But
does he have the personality too? Like that's to really kind of get people excited about him in the hobby. You have to.
When's the last time you saw an Elias Pettersson interview and we're like, yeah, that's the guy right there.
I don't know if I've ever seen an Elias Pettersson.
Exactly.
Honest.
Point proved.
Maybe he has a lot of hype to live up to because of the Sedins. Maybe there's some effect from that. They're like, well, he should be better. Like maybe he should have a twin. I don't know. I'm just pulling at straws here.
Okay, so the last guy that could be on a make or break season is Clayton Keller. So for the past couple seasons now, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
He scored 37 goals in 2022-23 and 33 goals last season. The problem is nobody's noticed. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, his sort of make or break scenario isn't, is he going to play better? Is anyone going to notice him or never, right? He's 26 years old now, played 6 full NHL seasons. And again, after part of the problem is he had a really good rookie year and then struggled for a few years after that before things seemed to click in 2021-22. So it could be that slow start to his career or being in Arizona, right, that kept him under the hobby radar. And I don't know, maybe this year with the relocation to Salt Lake City, he has a chance to maybe sneak on Team USA for the Four Nations tournament, which could get some hobby shine on him there. And if he scored 40 goals, would there be a chance where this could be kind of a hobby relevant guy that people think of and start to chase his cards a little bit? Or has the proverbial die been cast for sort of his place in the hobby? What do you guys think about Keller?
I'm all in on Keller. I think he's fantastic. I think the part moving to Salt Lake City can only help. Like new area, energized fan base, dying for hockey. I'm all in on Keller. I think he's gonna have a fantastic season.
Bill,
I don't know much about him, but I do know the Coyotes cards are crappy. Like you could have your favorite player on there, and the patches are always going to be kind of weird.
And now they're just going to say hockey club, right? You're going to get the H.
I like that though. I like that. That's cool. Hockey club. Yeah, it's nice.
Do you think that Logan Cooley is better than him though, and could maybe outshine him a little bit there?
It'll be interesting to see. I'm curious to see. Yeah.
All right. Those are my 4 guys. Is there anyone else that you guys could think of that you think is at, like, at the top of your mind is sort of at, besides Shane Pinto, Bill, that is kind of at a make or break point in the hobby?
All jokes aside, I do have to say Shane Pinto, though.
Well, coming off a gambling suspension, coming off of that, it's just like, prove yourself. Like, you got to do something. Louis said Shane Wright.
Ooh, good call. Shane Wright's going to be. And
I struggle with Shane Wright on this list though, because he's still so flipping young. Like
he's good. He's good, Troy. I think Shane Wright and Lafreniere. Lafreniere will be.
I'm kind of getting on that Laffy train.
Yeah. Go Laffy. He's awesome, man. Great playoffs last year. Let's see what happens this year. All
right, Phil. So after a week stranded at a luxury golf course in Canada.
Oh.
You're back for another one of your world famous. Oh, yeah, you're world famous and it's kind of scary for us rants. But
yeah, this one should be okay. Nothing.
Today it's puppy dogs and ice cream, kisses from grandma.
Yeah, sunshine, lollipops, and All right. Do I have the floor here, boys?
You go.
Yeah, let's put the glow in your flow, Phil. Let's hear it out.
Okay, hello, hobby family. It's Loud Phil here again for another installment of the glow in my flow. I had a pretty wild Wednesday, and that's exactly what I'm going to tell you about right now. So last week, we kicked things off with a crappy Monday. You know, the work week one. That evening, my buddy Anthony said, "What's up?" He is also the Felix Potvin collector on Instagram. He DMs me, says, "Yo, Phil, you snagging any slots in the GP Sports 60-tin break?" He's Italian, so I'm just doing that. And I says to him, "Hey, Tony, maybe." So you fast forward to Tuesday. I decide to grab 2 slots out of the 300 available. Actually, at that point, it was more like 100 slots, but you get the point. So here I am going to bed Tuesday night, ready for the big Wednesday Cup release day. Now, as I arise on the Wednesday and yell out to the ether, "Happy Hump Day and Cup release day. Let's party." Unfortunately, Adult Phil had to take over, plan his work day, hoping Loud Phil would make a reappearance by dinner time for the big cup mixer. So around 5 p.m., Adult Phil finishes all his tasks, rockets home, triple S's, and gets ready for the random player selection at GP Sports on YouTube. So here I am, Loud Fun Phil, sitting semi-patiently, waiting for the maestro of the evening, Grant, hello, to select players for all 300 of us. Probably more like 100 degenerates who pick 3 slots each. A few clicks here, a few clicks there, and whammo, I've got my players. Elias Lindholm and Kent Johnson. Not too shabby, eh, good listener? But leave it to me to make a good thing completely screwed up with minimal effort. Oh, Phil, you might be thinking, don't be so hard on yourself. Well, just wait. I'm not done. Don't interrupt me, Louis, for the love of God. Okay, here we go. So I'm reading the chat, waiting to see what other trades would be available. So trades are happening all over the place. People are crying and the usual. "Oh, I got nobody. Can I get a refund?" I actually read, "Can I get a refund?" So on a side note, not to pick on low-hanging fruit here, but men, my fellow brethren. Yes, I'm talking to you guys. And women, if you're listening, but I'm a man, so I'm going to reference the men. Own your decisions. Seriously, nobody forced you to go to gpsports.com, put your credit card information, and hit the button that said buy. You did that. Not your ex-wife, not your jerk neighbor, not Troy, and definitely not Grant, who owns the website. So there's no refunds. Stop complaining. Own your decisions. All right. Back to
How much were the break spots? Just out of curiosity.
275 Canadian.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you actually work out, so I'm not on script here. If you actually work out the formula, it was for an online retailer, that was the best break, 60 tins. So if you do the math, it's pretty good. All right. Yes. So back to the action. As I said, I'm scanning the chat for trade opportunities, and there it is, the Golden Boy trade. Someone has Brady Tkachuk, so I'm like, time to go big or go home. I offer both my players, Lindholm and Johnson, for Brady. Yes, I know, stupid, but Kent Johnson is a blue chip prospect, and financially, maybe this isn't the smartest move, but come on, it's Brady. I'm a PC guy. What kind of a Brady Tkachuk collector would I be if I didn't do that? That's how I look at it. I've got preseason.
Can I ask you a question about that, though, real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
So you're in for $550 for Brady Tkachuk at this point, right?
Yeah, for 60 tins. Yeah.
Do you think there's a card in the cup of his that's would cost you more than $550?
I didn't put that thought into it at the time. Yeah, no more questions. Okay, so no more questions. So okay, I lost my spot. Okay, hold on. Golden Boy trade. Yeah, so I got preseason FOMO. I got the Sens in my veins. I'm taking my shot. That might answer a question, Josh. Okay. So I messaged the guy, Jeff, and he's like, yeah, obviously. And then I'm like, okay, so we made the trade, sent the emails, Grant approved it. So the night starts rough. Kent Johnson gets pulled, first tin, a Quad Foundations card. No big deal. I don't like Quad Foundation cards anyways. Who cares? It's crappy card.
Who likes money?
Who likes money? And then whammo, case number 3, an exquisite RPA Kent Johnson out of 5 comes out. So up to this point, that's 3 Kent Johnson cards and not a single Brady. And I'm thinking at this point, well, you know what? I have an early day tomorrow. I should probably head to bed. So I did that, hoping to just watch the stream the next day. And then up pops Anthony again, slides into my DMs when I'm half asleep, literally, like I'm 80% sleeping. He goes, Phil, whatever you're going to do, don't check your YouTube or the chat. And I say, oh no, what happened? Then he goes, you sure you want to know, brother? He goes, I don't think you want to know. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So at this point, I have to know. So I go, okay, Anthony, let me know. He goes, oh, you're ready. You're sitting down. Never mind. I know you're sleeping. So he sends me a pic with no words. Another exquisite RPA out of 5, I thought. I said, well, you know what? Great. More Kent Johnson. At this point, I'm half asleep. I'm comprehending about 42.0% of this conversation. I say to myself, Phil, just get your beauty sleep today, and you're going to deal with this tomorrow. I thank Anthony. I say, oh, well, win some, lose some, not much you can do. Thursday morning, I wake up ready to finish the break. I make my decaf coffee, and I start watching the stream where I left off. Then I hear Grant say, oh, boy, here we go, folks, the first one of the night. And I'm thinking, well, this is exciting. I wonder what it could be. Guess what? Not exciting at all. It's a Kent Johnson exquisite RPA 1 of 1. How could this be? I thought it was an out of 5. I scramble on my cell phone to reread Anthony's message, and my brain was just too tired to process it correctly the first time. He wrote 1 of 1. I guess my brain shut off and just didn't want to see it. So here in real time, not in real time, sorry, recorded time, my jaw hits the floor. Of course, Murphy's Law and Mr. Murphy showed up late to the party, and that guy just follows me around everywhere I go, including my hockey breaks. So I give myself 30 seconds to be upset. I throw my tantrums. I have my fun words, and I'm freaking out in my office. 30 seconds. And then I go, woosah. It's just card, boys. It's just cardboard with sweaty dudes on it. Totally okay to be bummed out, but I'm absolutely not going to let this wreck my entire mindset. Nothing good would come from it. You know what helped me snap out of it? I continued watching the stream. The hobby family in the chat was absolutely phenomenal. I checked my phone. The DMs were out of control. So much love. Instead of rubbing salt in the wound, random hobbyists sent me their own horror stories. I got like so many stories.
Do you want me to show the cards? Do you want me to show?
Yeah, please show the cards, Troy.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the cards I didn't get, but my friend Jeff did. But wait, there's more. Okay, there's more love here. Grant eventually pulled a Brady Tkachuk card. It was a duel with Shabbat. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but then Grant said, with non-negotiability into it, he goes, he bought out the Shabbat guy that he wanted to get me that card. Call it good business, call it being a friend, maybe a bit of both. I don't know. He absolutely didn't have to do that. Oh, and I'm not even done there. Jeff, the guy I traded with, he offered to, so there was $1,000 bounty for a 1 of 1 card. He offered to split it right away. I read it in the chat. Right away, he offered to split it to me to make it right. Listen, Jeff, there's nothing to make right. I am accountable for that decision. You're an awesome guy. Maybe in the future we could make a deal and you could be a little, we could round more to my favor. That's a different scenario. I'm not wired that way to take that money. That just doesn't fly in my world. So I very much appreciate that, Jeff. I'm just not wired that way, but what a gesture. Maybe next time we can work out a trade. So in total and in conclusion, 5 Kent Johnson bangers, 1/2 Brady Tkachuk card, and a whole lot of love from the community, from the DMs to the chat, to the brick and mortar owner, to the people who got nothing. There was 300 slots. There's a lot of people that got no cards, more than that did. And those people still felt bad for me. And thank you so much for that. Huge thanks to GP Sports. Huge thanks to Jeff for the trade, and everyone who checked in on your boy Phil. Big love, guys. And there to the two DMs that were not very nice. Hey, man, I get it. We all have tough days. You're probably mad at something else. I still love you. Good times will come to you, and I hope your days get better. And that's the glow in my flow.
Great story.
Yeah, more of a story today. I just wanted to
sorry that happened to you. I mean, that kind of sucks. But one of the things I really like about you is your ability to, not let things get you down that are not in your control.
Yeah, in a year from now, will this matter? Absolutely not. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you guys surprised how well this cup release seems to be doing?
It's beautiful. Great cards, man.
And it seems like breakers are like, every breaker I see is going through case after case after case.
It's because they're the only ones buying it. No, there's no personal people. There's no personal rips of the cup. Yes, there's some whales that probably buy some, but it's all breakers.
No. It was
pretty cheap here for $850 US.
$850. We had one of our LCSs had it for.
Even if you hit like a Shane Wright RPA, 3-color, blah blah blah, you're not selling that for $1,000. right? Like you're not like maybe one or two, but after the biggest Shane Wright buyers, I don't think the fifth biggest Shane Wright buyer is going to pay $1,000 for an RPA. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Part of the reason why I don't break a lot is I'm trying to like put myself in your shoes. If I had spent, I'm not even saying like, not even, let's say you didn't do the trade. If I spent $550 Canadian on a couple of players, I think I would be stressed out the entire break. Like it wouldn't be fun to me. I would have anxiety the whole time. And that's just why, it kind of sucks probably because is it fun for you, or do you feel anxiety or stress during that? Or
I had so much fun. I had fun like scouring the chats, and some guy came in and made silly comments. We all attacked him. Get out of here. it was very tribal. I don't know. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the experience. And I know I made in my rant, I said 30 seconds. I was screaming and hollering. I would say it was about 8 seconds where I'm like, oh, I could have been a great trader, like those would have been great trading cards for the expo. So that it wasn't the money. It was, I robbed myself from future experience of at the expo at tables. Like, you want Kent Johnson? I'm your guy, but yeah, I don't know, man. I had a great time. Yeah. 550. Yeah. That's a shot in the pills, but
what about you, Troy? If you had spent that kind of money, is it a thrill to you? Do you care, or do you get stressed out about like, are you going to get anything?
My whole thing is I wouldn't have spent that money because I could buy 5 to 10 awesome Pekka Renes for that much money. So I would rather go that route. And listen, I have nothing against breaking. I used to do a lot of breaks. I had fun watching breaks and being a part of them. But I've kind of like you. I've kind of slipped off of that and just used the money for other stuff. The last max, like cups, like 17 boxes for the rip stuff.
The last break I did was SP Authentic, was a couple of cases of that to try and get my Jake Sanderson's Future Watch, and that was 6 months ago. And that was, so sometimes I get an itch and I needed to scratch it. I'm scratching it with the cup. Grant's a friend. He's a local business. It
might make, you could probably make a really good argument. It makes more sense so if you're chasing a particular player, to spend half of what a box costs and get 60 tins versus 1 6-card shot where you can literally get nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some pretty bad, like single tins of the cup. So it's not like a indictment on breaking by any stretch. And the cup is, fun. To your point, Troy, is probably more of a breaking product than it is, unless you're going to like do a case or something like that. Then you're talking real big money.
And it's nice to be in a break where it's not series 1 where they're like hit, dazzler. Everything's great, man. You really feel like you're part of the boys, like just like we feel right here. I felt like I was in Grant's shop. It was, I mean, it probably helps that I've been in there, but it was just a great night, man. It really felt like community. All the cheesy stuff, it was great.
Well, we're going to move from one big release in the cup to just a week later. We're on the heels of the next, what I think is a pretty big release in the hobby, 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee Platinum, one of my favorite sets. And we're going to kind of continue our sort of new way of breaking down the checklist here and talking about, in our sort of glib fashion, that these are the cards that you should care about from 2023-24 Platinum. This is a pretty easy one, guys, because actually O-Pee-Chee Platinum is a pretty straightforward set, which is nice. Now, Platinum uses the same designs as O-Pee-Chee paper, but applies the chromium finish to them. It's really a parallel-driven set with not a lot of inserts that are very interesting. Maybe one in the retros, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Of course, it's also one of the most anticipated sets in the hobby that has some monster rookie parallels. I know, Troy, that you're a big fan of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, correct? Typically.
Yeah, usually I had to think about it because sometimes it makes me angry, but I do like it. And it's so funny when I was looking, I didn't realize Huberto's on the cover of it. I'm like, oh, is that just doom this thing now? Like from the start, since he's had a rough time in Calgary, but O-Pee-Chee Platinum's cool.
Are you a Platinum guy, Phil?
Yeah, I love Platinum, just not 22-23. Yeah.
Why not 20 or
No, 21, 22, right?
21, 22?
That's what I was
Yeah,
trying to get at. It's like I've loved Platinum, and then I mean we've said this a million times. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but it had so much momentum, and then that release came out, that 21-22, where it's miscuts and just a bunch of stuff going on. I felt like it lost a little, but I think it's picked itself back up. I only opened one box of the last release, and I liked it. I thought it was really nice.
It was a lot better. I don't know why this is a big thing for me, but my biggest issue with last year's was that the Seismic Gold was really dull.
It was super.
And I'm
dull.
a big Seismic Gold guy, so
it was like bronze. It was like Seismic bronze.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of screwed a bit too, because 18-19 is one of my favorite O-Pee-Chee Platinum years ever, and that's Brady's first year.
Yeah.
So every time I see another O-Pee-Chee Platinum card, I compare it to that, and I'm like, it's not that good. Same with McDavid's rookie year. Oh, the cards in that 17-18, another banger year for O-Pee-Chee.
O-Pee-Chee?
O-P-C-P, LMNOP.
Okay. Well, so, to some degree, it's been hit or miss, but that makes maybe this a really good discussion then. And we'll see if you guys are excited in a few minutes, because these are like I said, these are the cards in 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee Platinum that you should care about. Okay, let's get into it. So Platinum comes out this Wednesday, September 25th. Has a base set with 200 vets and 100 marquee rookies. Now, because some of the parallels are low numbered and have prestige amongst collectors, some of the vet parallels can get pretty valuable for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. But honestly, what mostly drives interest in the set are marquee rookies. And so we're going to sort of skip ahead to that. And also, too, it's worth noting that the parallels are basically the same between the vets and the rookies. A minor note is that the odds for the non-numbered rookies are slightly tougher, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like we said, there's 100 rookies on the checklist. 50 is always better, but 100 is sort of the typical that you expect with O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Now, rookies in O-Pee-Chee Platinum are called marquee rookies. Some years, Upper Deck has called them marquee rookie. It's kind of like the whole emblems of endorsements and emblems of endorsement. It bugs me that they can't just pick one and go with it. So very critical question. Troy, you have to think very carefully before answering. Are you a marquee rookies or marquee rookie guy?
Marquee rookie. Wow, I don't know. Now I'm debating, because if it's one guy on the card, I like marquee rookie, but the set is marquee rookies. I'm gonna go marquee rookie. I'm sticking to marquee rookie. That was the first thing I thought.
What about you, Phil? Are you marquee rookies or marquee rookie guy?
I like marquee rookie.
Okay. No, big disagreement there. Well, from the marquee rookies,
I said rookie.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, singular.
I don't like either of them. I think they're both silly. I wish they'd think of a better name.
Okay. Well, that's like they're on the marquee. Get it?
Young Guns
is
minor.
Awesome.
Young Guns minor.
June Loop.
Young Guns Junior.
Young Wolf.
So from the marquee rookies base set design, there's only 15 parallels this year. Now, some are hobby exclusive. One is retail exclusive, just like with Allure in your yellow taxi there, Phil. And some are in both retail and hobby. For the odds, we're mainly going to go with the hobby odds today, since we mainly talk about hobby and not retail. So here's the non-numbered parallels for marquee rookies. There's Rainbow, which is 1 in 6-pack odds. Neon Yellow Surge. That's the yellow
Why
retail
the yellow
exclusive.
always in the retail? Why does the yellow gets thrown to the retail people?
Sunset is 1 in 12, and then Matte Pink is 1 in 18. Then there's 11 numbered parallels for the base set marquee rookies. So the highest number one is out of 399. It's called Liquid Metal. I don't know. It's kind of a cool looking card.
T2, baby.
Magma.
T2 reminds me of T2.
Magma. Yeah. Magma. Terminator 2, right? So we're looking at the Logan Cooley mock-up here if you're watching on YouTube. Then there's Violet Pixels out of 299. Red Prism out of 199. I've always thought that Red Prism is a good option for like a higher numbered platinum parallel that can have like long-term value, actually. Mm-hmm. So like if you don't have the bucks for like a Emerald Surge or something like that, maybe look at Red Prism. And the one thing you got to remember with the O-Pee-Chee Platinum version of Red Prism is that it's not spelled like Panini Prism. Panini Prism has a Z. In O-Pee-Chee Platinum, it's Prism. That's the Prism. So that's out of 199. Then we have Blue Fragments out of 125. You got the picture here, Troy? So it's a new parallel. I think looks kind of interesting. Now, the example we're showing is from the Upper Deck product gallery, and it's of McDavid, who isn't a rookie, of course, or last time I checked anyways. But it does give you an idea of what the blue fragments design will look like. It's kind of like cracked ice meets a stained glass, like in a church window or something like that. I really like this. And for a long time, like people like, Phil, in 2018, did they have the blue cubes that year too? And then they got rid of it, but everyone's like, "Oh, I love blue cubes. How come they don't?"
I didn't like it. It was.
Really?
I like this though. Yeah, this. I don't find them. Well, maybe they are a bit similar.
No, but blue cubes are like all the square, like the cubes in it. But
made me itchy.
So this is out of 125 though, which is a little kind of a weird numbering convention. Then the next parallel is Arctic Freeze out of 99, which is, considering it's like a platinum card out of 99, I never really see it referenced like in like a real chased card. So it's kind of, maybe a parallel that doesn't work real well. I don't know. Cosmic out of 65. So here's an example of that.
I love those.
Yeah. Well, Topps has, like, on the baseball side, they have like these cosmic. Is that the name of the set, Troy? Is it Topps Cosmic, or like real popular? They have like the solar system kind of theme.
So anything universe oriented is awesome.
Yeah. Seismic Gold out of 50. Of course, one of the biggest cards in the hobby. Orange Checkers out of 25. Somewhat forgotten at times, I think. Emerald Surge out of 10. And then another new one that I didn't see a picture of, but kind of interesting by name. They added an out of 5 parallel this year called Bioluminescence.
Oh, you know what that means? That's almost like our favorite of all time, the Under the Sea one. What was that? Aquamarine?
Oh, I hate that one.
Bioluminescence is like organisms, right? That in the ocean that can glow in the dark, basically. I think they're coming back. Aquamarine is making a comeback.
Little Mermaid, we called it.
Yeah, Under the Sea.
And then the last parallel, of course, is the Golden Treasures 101.
Beauty.
There's the Luke Hughes. I like the design this year. Looks pretty good.
Do you like the silver coming up like that? Whoosh. It'd be cool if that wasn't there. I like the black border.
Okay. You had an opinion on the Golden Treasures design, Troy?
Yeah.
Looks good.
Well,
I don't know. The O-Pee-Chee Platinums, like a lot of the time, you could just put it in front of me, and they kind of all look the same after a while. I mean, there are subtle differences, but
the Golden Treasures always has that like brushed metal effect, like the wax on, wax off. Like if you zoom in, it's like little circles or something like that. Okay, so that's the marquee rookies and the 15 parallels. The next one that we want to talk about is the retro checklist, which is very similar to the base set. Remember, Upper Deck, now by retro, they don't have the rights to use old O-Pee-Chee designs, so they can't have like a retro based on the 1972 O-Pee-Chee set. So when they say retro, they kind of come up with a unique design that has an older kind of retro vibe to it or look and feel, but does not reference, like I said, a specific vintage year of O-Pee-Chee, which would be totally amazing if that were possible. But that being said, I think Upper Deck typically does a pretty awesome job with these retro designs, and this year is no different. And just like with the base set, the design is carried over from O-Pee-Chee paper and has that chromium finish applied for platinum. So there's 100 total cards in the retro checklist, and it's a mix of rookies and vets. So there's 65 vets and 35 rookies. General pack odds to hit any retro card is 1 and 2. For parallels, the vets and rookies literally have the same odds, and there's 5 total parallels in the retro set. So there's Rainbow, I think that's our first picture, which is 1 in 12 hobby odds to hit one of these. This is an awesome looking card in my opinion. I can't wait to see in person. Are you a fan of the retro design this year, Phil?
I generally like the retro design, but I like more of a matte color.
Yeah,
I don't
like the black paper retros were fantastic.
Yeah, I don't. This is a little too purpley for me. I don't. I like the yellows, orange, and reds, but I'm not a big fan of the purpley stuff.
Then there's a pink Pulsar parallel that's retail exclusive, 120 pack odds, so pretty tough odds for retail. There's a blue Pulsar out of 100 that's hobby only. Purple Houndstooth out of 15, hobby knee pack only, and then a Golden Treasures 101. Now there's one more subset before we get into the autos that I there's not a picture, but I do think is worth mentioning. So one of the cooler cards that's a little under the radar are the NHL Shield variations, kind of chase cards, pretty tough pack odds, 1 in 288, 20 total cards on the checklist. It is a mix of the biggest vets and rookies. The 5 rookies on that checklist are Bedard, Cooley, Fantilli, Luke Hughes, and Matthew Nyes. So that's 40% of them are Golden Gophers, Troy, if you're doing the math.
Nice.
There we go. Right.
Now, Phil, which 2 of those are Golden Gophers?
Say them again.
Bedard,
Yeah.
Cooley,
Yeah.
Fantilli, Luke Hughes, Matthew Nyes.
Is it Hughes and what was the second one you said?
Cooley.
Bedard,
Cooley.
Cooley.
Was it Cooley and Hughes?
He got half.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Cooley is.
Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's why I
Michigan,
didn't
right?
say it. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Michigan. I don't know where Luke Hughes went.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bedard went to Regina Pats, and Fantilli was Michigan too. The final must-know set in 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee Platinum are the rookie autos. I've kind of found it interesting that for the auto version, Upper Deck drops the marquee rookies and just calls them rookie autos. And I don't know, maybe it's because they have their own parallels that they needed to have a different name or something like that. I don't know. All the parallels have their own checklist because they're slightly different. This is where they do there's 51 cards in one and 52 cards in another sort of thing. The first rookie auto are rookie red autographs. There's 55 total cards, 1 in 30 pack odds. The thing about the pack odds with these platinum rookie autos is that basically all the odds are there, but all the big names are either short print or super short print. So Bedard is a super short print. There's rookie autographs rainbow, 1 in 100 pack odds. Again, Bedard is SP, and big rookies are a lot of other ones are super short print. There's rookie autograph sunset. So 53 cards on the checklist, 120 pack odds. This is the one parallel design that's always been hit or miss for me, and I actually like this year's sunset parallel.
I like the design. I do think this and sound horrible. Maybe this is one of the parallels that maybe should get sunset, but actually I think they did a really good job with this. I think you're dead on. I like the color. I like the scheme. You really can't tell it's like the sunset. There's some clouds in the background, but I always didn't like when there's kind of a sun or it looked weird sometimes.
The box design is basically the sunset parallel too.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed that. You a sunset parallel fan, Phil, or no?
I feel like the whole set is very Florida theme driven this year. I don't know. There's Del Boca Vista. All right. Seinfeld. It doesn't
The
matter.
next one, Del Boca Vista.
Yeah.
Rookie autographs, Matt Pink. There's 54 cards on the checklist. 1 in
Miami. Here's Miami, the hot pink.
Miami.
That's what
Again,
I'm telling you. Yeah.
short print is super short print for most of the big name rookies, but there's the Matt Pink auto. Now we get to the numbered rookie auto. So Violet Pixels, there's 60 rookies on the checklist. These are out of 99. Cosmic has 62 rookies on the checklist out of 35.
That looks
or
cool.
65.
That is awesome.
That
look
is
at
a
that.
bad bleeping card. That
Got
looks
it.
sweet.
Right there with you, Troy Bear. That is a great card. Look at that.
Red Prism has 62 rookies again on the checklist out of 30 or out of 50. Seismic Gold, 62 rookies. These are all out of 25. So the sheen is back for Seismic Gold.
Yeah, big fan of that. Big fan.
Orange Checkers out of 15. Is this the one that nobody really cares about?
Man,
Orange Checkers.
I dropped like $500 on Brady's PSA 10 orange checkers. Ugh, silly.
Here's one that'll get us Minnesota guys excited.
Yeah.
Out of 10, the Brock Faber Emerald Surge and just the nice color match with the Wild.
Yep.
It's a pretty
Great
looking card.
Great card.
And then, of course, the Golden Treasures 101. And if you're watching on YouTube, here's the product hit, the Bedsy Rookie Auto 101 Golden Treasures.
What do you think it'll go for? What do you think? You think this will be 100K? Like a silly person would say, but
I'm going to say like 35.
yeah.
What do you think, Troy?
50 is the first. 50,000 was the first number that came into my head.
Baba Louie, you got a guess? Throw it in the chat.
Like, are we saying asking price or purchase price?
Purchase price. Asking price. It's going to be stupid.
Yeah. I say 27.50. 227 large. Yeah.
Oh, that's what Louis
Between
said.
That's the exact thing that Baba Louie said.
What?
Literally the exact same. Look at the chat.
Oh no, yeah, that's good. Yeah, right on. Nice.
That's the second time, Phil, that you've caught yourself in the act
I have
of,
the shinning. Attic.
What does your neon light say behind you?
Oh.
Good vibes only. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, but not leastly, Phil, there's one update we should probably all care about. There's a few Slavkovsky rookie autos from 2022-23 O-Pee-Chee Platinum in here as updates. The matte pink auto, orange checkers, emerald surge, and the golden treasures 101 was not in 2022-23. Oops.
Wow. That wasn't announced, was it? Like when it came out, they're like,
Probably not.
Just let you know the golden. I mean, you probably could look at the checklist and figure it out. But
I hope he does good this year, man. I'd love to see a good Russian guy just kick butt in Montreal. It'd be great.
He's not Russian, is he?
He's not Russian.
Czech?
Yeah,
I think he's Czech.
Yeah. Oh, either way, some European.
Some of your Eastern European guys.
Eastern European, yes.
Slovakia.
Anyone? Yeah, like what? East of Germany, we just call Russian now. Is that what?
Don't get me and Josh having to go through the whole Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia.
I want to visit Czech Republic. That looks like one of the most beautiful places on the planet, man. Find a stepmom for Hasselhoff there, no problem.
Okay, again, these are not all the cards in 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee Platinum, but these are the ones that we glibly think you should care about. Check out your favorite checklist site for complete set info. If you buy a hobby box of 2023-24 Platinum, here's what you can expect. You get 1 autograph per box, 5 serial number cards, 1 retro rainbow card per box, and 6 total retro cards in every box. If you're in the US for a few days, it's still pre-selling at Dave & Adams. It's $300 now. To compare to last year, 2022-23 released 190. So we're at a 58% increase from the Bedard tax, right? We're calling it. You can also get 2022-23 even on Dave & Adams for 160. I think we've seen that cheaper at the Minnesota Card Show. Was it 150, something like that? Maybe
it was 150, I think.
Glibly. I think producers Louis is looking at my words. I don't always use words that make sense, Louis. You should know that by now. In Canada, it looks like pre-sales at Mint Ink sold out, but it was selling at 301 US equivalent, so about the same price. So people are going hard for O-Pee-Chee Platinum here already in Canada. Okay, now we just talked about a few minutes ago. The Cup seems like it's been a big success. Do you predict that a week or two from now we'll be saying the same thing about Platinum? Like, holy cow, like people are really digging this? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Plus, it's all the people that can't get into the Cup, like can't buy a box of Cup, might actually buy a box of Platinum.
Good call, Troy. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Beginning of the season too. Yeah.
Are you gonna buy player breaks into like a 60,000 box break of it or something like that, Phil?
No, there's no one I want. No. I'll just let other people. I'm going to the expo on a mission. I'm not. There's no more breaks or rips for this guy for a while.
Okay. Oh, can't wait to hear about that. Last little thing, a new product releases very quickly. 2023-24 extended series hit EPAC. Phil, you excited?
Oh, I'm jacked up, Josh.
Go. 140 US per hobby box. Pretty much the same. I think I've seen it's about 130 around here, US. So this means we're going to start to see silver foil, speckled rainbow young guns for like Adam Fantilli and Logan Cooley. There's some new Bedard achievement cards that you can earn as well. With, of course, you can look up details on the EPAC site. So do you want to say anything, Phil, and further alienate the EPAC community? Or
I'm one of. Whoa! I'm not one of them, but I'm a visitor.
You had to whoa yourself.
Yeah. The inside voices and outside voices get mixed up sometimes, so I gotta yell at the guy on the inside. You know, I visit their community often. They're made a couple of buddies. I still stand by a lot of things I said. I will not be purchasing extended on EPAC though. No.
Troy.
Yes.
You're prone to some like Saturday night itches on EPAC. Is this one that might get you?
I was thinking about it. When the price is the same as hobby, I'm actually more inclined to actually pull the trigger. But when you go out there and it's and we've talked about this 100 times, like Parker's Champion, I think I've had it in my inbox 5 times. And I'm just like, nah, it's
Don't
so
do
much
it.
more.
I won't let you try. I find out you did that, I'll be very upset. I'll be very
I'm like,
man. $100 a box at the expo. You
I
know it's
know.
coming.
No, well, I got my case for $60 a
Oh
box.
yeah, exactly. There you go. Even better. Well, that's 100 of Canadian, pretty much. I think.
Yeah,
Little
yeah.
less. Little less.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's still expensive. I think. I don't even want to pay that. I want to pay less.
Have you slowed down on Parker's Champions now, Phil? Or are you?
Yeah,
still
I haven't bought anything. No, man. I got so many. All my sheets are right here. I don't want to start grabbing them. I'm almost done. I'm 80
Hey,
over
Phil,
85% all the legends.
Did you ever pull one of the booklets? Like,
No.
I'm not trying to be funny or anything. Just
No, I never did. Thank God.
Okay,
No,
I
don't
was
want to.
wondering because I was wondering if because those seem very rare, but I was wondering if you ever hit one.
No, I got two
want to see one in
redemptions.
person. I've seen them online, but I just want to see one in person.
I got 2 redemptions, Troy. I was pretty
Oh.
PO'd about that. I was like, oh.
Were they the buyback redemptions?
I got a
I don't
redemption
know.
too. It
Not
was
sure.
Boldy was a redemption in Parker's Champions.
I mean, there's
Really?
like 52 Parker's redemptions in there you can find, and
I don't know. One of them's Brant Clark. I told California Dave I would just give it to him. Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's a Parky auto. Not interested.
Gonna move on. Make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Fanatics Collect. Of course, we're very grateful for their support of our show. Reminder that the Fanatics Sotheby's Holy Grails live auction is tomorrow, Tuesday, September 24th, 2024 at 7:30 Eastern in New York City. It's a live auction. Have to be there, I guess, in person. Maybe you can bid online too, like they do at the fancy car auctions. I don't know. 33 of the sport card hobbies most valuable cars will be auctioned off live to the highest bidders. A pretty cool event. I'm going to be tuning in. Just there's no hockey cards, but just to kind of see, if some of these go for like 500 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. But Fanatics Collect is not just for the 6-figure type cards. It's a great option for the everyday Troys and Joshes like us. There's a number of options you can choose from to help you move your cards for some cash. I'd recommend checking out the selling section on fanaticscollect.com to see all of your options. A great example of how Fanatics Collect caters to sellers of all types of cards is if you list a card that sells in their buy now marketplace that sells for less than 120 US, you only pay 6% in fees. So that's like half of what eBay's fees are. Weekly auction is another great option too. And this week's is currently live. So be sure to head to fanaticscollect.com. Check out all the hockey cards in this week's auction and get your bids in. We'll highlight our favorite vintage and modern cards in the weekly on Thursday show. Mailbag. Okay. So we're going to start with Facebook, Robert Scharf. He says, question for Scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Robert.
It's a big name up here. Yeah.
No. Question for next podcast. Can you confirm if this card is a picture of Patrice Bergeron and his father during the final game against Montreal in April 13th, 2022? I think he's talking about an upper deck canvas card, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. I did. There was no picture. Hold on. I'm finding it. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go.
So, Josh, how was your day?
Yeah, here we go. This is the card he's talking about. Sorry, I just pulled up the first thing that came up. Let's do this. Open image. There we go.
Oh, that is a great card.
Here's what he's talking about. Yes, so I do remember this question. So I actually looked it up. And so this card, 22 upper deck UD canvas, it's got Bergeron and then we'll just say an old man with a cane. That's actually Johnny Bucyk, not Patrice Bergeron's dad. It's actually from the 50th anniversary of the celebration of the 71-72 Boston Bruins Stanley Cup team. And I can't remember when I tried to find the actual date of when the ceremony took place, and I found a couple. It was like right in that weird COVID time where stuff might have got moved around, so I couldn't really figure out the date. But that's for sure that's Johnny Bucyk because he's got the number 9 jersey on. Boston Bruins.
A great picture. Wow, that's a great card, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two Bruins Hobby Mount Rushmore snubs on one card. Oops.
We need more cards like that. More cards where we reference the history of the game with the new.
Yeah.
You know, our age needs to show the young kids that history is good. And that's a great card to showcase that.
Okay, this next one's kind of wild. It's from Instagram, Kyle from Vancouver. He says, absolutely love your show. Well, thank you, Kyle. He kind of wrote a novel, but it is a payoff. I really enjoyed your episode on Gretzky autograph cards because to me, a Gretzky auto card is one of my most coveted cards, but also one of the most confusing when it comes to origin and authenticity. My question is about the many 1990s Upper Deck base cards that are autographed by Gretzky and hand numbered. You feature 2 of these in your Gretzky auto episode, a 1991-92 Upper Deck base card out of 500 and a 95-96 Upper Deck SP out of 500. My problem is I can't find either card in any of the checklist resources I use. I also can't find numerous other hand-numbered Gretzky auto cards. For example, that copy of the 91-92 card you discussed had an NBA label that identified it as a 99 2000 SP Authentic autographed buyback, but I couldn't find this card anywhere in TCDB or even in an old paper issue of the Beckett Price Guide. He says, similarly, for the 1995-96 SP Gretzky Auto, I found a 101 in the 99-2000 SP Authentic checklist, but couldn't find a version out of 500 anywhere. I've learned that some of these early 90s Gretzky Autos were done by Upper Deck Authenticated and not part of the hobby release, which might be why they don't appear in TCDB, but it's difficult to distinguish these from pack-pulled buybacks. Do you know of any way to decode or authenticate the Upper Deck hologram on the back of these cards? It's like some of them are BAG, and then there's 5 numbers, or BAE, or UUDA. He says, for the 2 cards you showcased, am I missing something in my checklist search? How would you advise confirming the origin and authenticity of some of these cards? He says, thanks, Kyle from Vancouver. And he says, part of Canada where we call them cabins, not cottages. So that's amazing. This one, so I went down a total rabbit hole and didn't find any answers. And it's really confusing. I looked it up. I found like in recent sales, looking for 90s Gretzky autos, maybe 20 that had the hologram on back with the 3 letters that start with B and then the 5 numbers. And then I went to the Upper Deck authenticated sort of database search.
They don't return anything.
None of them were in there.
I've done that on cards that were from last year, like not MLB, but like I've found cards on with that Upper Deck code, like you did. Go to that site. I've never had one actually successfully come back and tell me something.
That's always good.
And then I started searching. Well, how do you authenticate these cards? And people could only point to that site. There was like there's a link I found like in a Reddit forum to an old Upper Deck search page, but that's like a 403 error now or 503 error now. Yeah. And so unless I'm totally missing something here, I don't know there's any way to authenticate any of those cards right now. And it's like,
I agree.
As cool as I think they are, it's like, whoa, I don't know if I could buy one.
So any buyback, any with that oval hologram on the back.
Yeah. That's
that's scary, man. I'm just starting to get into those.
And then here's the thing too. I know he mentions this. There's 2 that he said we brought up, Josh. I think those might have been a couple examples of those golden ones by Ken Golden's dad.
Yeah.
Those. So that's why you probably don't see those in TCDB or.
But I found like I was looking up. There's like 95, 94, 96 autos for Gretzky that are in like SP. And they all at the time had that little hologram
and none of them
code on the back, and I couldn't find any way to authenticate any of them.
Ooh, mystery. We have a mystery. Call Billy Batphone.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
Why? He might know the person that would know.
He started working at 20. They don't know what. Phil, we said this before. They don't know what SP stands.
I know. I'm just trolling. I'm trying to figure it out.
There's our unsolved hobby mystery. I haven't brought this out in a while.
There it is.
Yeah, so my hope is that there's like an obvious answer that we just don't know, and somebody will message us. But like you, Phil, I really was kind of starting to like a lot of these cards, and now I'm pumping the brakes on that chase a little bit till I get to the bottom of this. So please message us. That would be great.
Some of the buybacks from like 90, 91, 91, 92, I love those. And I'm not a buyback guy, but I could be.
Next one is from Facebook, Eric Ellis. Not a question, but a comment for Loud Phil.
Oh.
Phil, you convinced me to take Shane Pinto in fantasy this year because you said he'd have a monster season. You better be right because I took him fairly early.
Don't put that on me. You can put it on me. That's fine. Yes, pick him. Everybody listening, pick Shane Pinto for your fantasy draft. You're welcome. Yep.
Well, next one from Instagram, Kevin B. Smith. He knows how to get Troy, right down the rabbit hole. He says, Troy, with Pekka Rinne long gone, retired, in your opinion, who will be the 2025 Vezina winner? Who is the most underrated goalie in the NHL? And 3, which young netminder would it be wise to start PCing? He says, cheers and happy hobbying.
I always read the last one says which I always read netminders, so I always put multiples. I never get the singular. All right, I'm gonna hit this quick. Vezina winner 2025, Igor Shesterkin. He's gonna build off his elite second half of the season. If you remember, first half struggled, second half he was a machine. Turn it into a full year and win the Vezina. Underrated goalie. I'm going Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. One awesome name, awesome nickname, and it kind of sounds like Pekka, but if you look at UPL's stats last year, 2.57 goals against, which is ninth best, 0.91 save percentage, which isn't the greatest, but it was in, I think, top 20. And playing on a team that really did not meet expectations in front of him, I think he had a really solid year. And he's a big dude. He's 6'5". You look at all the advanced analytics, and he's in the top 10 on a lot of them, like goals saved above expected, goals saved above average. I think he has a ton of potential, and I think he's highly underrated. And he's going to be pushed by another stud, Devin Levi, who's in Buffalo too. So I think he's got all the mixture to have a great season coming up. But I definitely think he's underrated. And then PC goalies. So yes, I love this question because you said PC goalies. Don't ever invest in goalies. They're horrible. They're the worst thing to invest in because they just jump. They're like the most volatile market in hockey cards. But I would say, now his cards aren't out yet, but when they come out, Jesper Wallstedt, our Uber goalie for the Wild, that's supposed to be the next great thing. I'm actually kind of high on Askarov, even though I know a lot of people aren't, but I think him just basically saying, I want a starting job. I want out in Nashville. I want to go somewhere now. Went to the Sharks. So I don't know if that's a win or what, but at least you're going to have the net. But I like Askarov and then Ottinger as well. I think Ottinger's proved himself. He's a young goalie, youngish goalie from our hometown. Love him. But those are maybe the three guys I like. I PC Peck, I PC Ottinger a little bit. I just don't have another guy. Askarov, I've been really kind of looking at. You'll see how that goes. And UPL too. I really like UPL once I did some research on him. Because I don't watch a lot of Buffalo games. That's the only problem.
Phil, so Troy told me the other day that he read that the Wild are going to carry 3 goalies this year on their roster.
Yeah, we're carrying 3.
Really?
That's what they're saying. They're going to carry Gus Bus, Fleury, and Wallstedt. Wallstedt. This Wallstedt, he's always ranked like the best goalie prospect in the world. And it's like at some point he played one game letting like 8 goals last year. It's like eventually you got to get him. If you think he's that good, right? Get him some playing time. And I mean, he was the best goalie in the NHL, I think. I mean,
Fleury seems pretty easygoing. If they have to make some midseason adjustments.
Well, I like Fleury to me is like he's like a streak of 3 to 5 really bad games, and he's probably gonna just kind of tell him,
players coach. I'll be the players coach.
Yeah, I love Fleury. I have a feeling this year could be rough.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Instagram Skull and Steel card breaks. Who do you think will have a value increase this upcoming season? Oh boy. If we really knew this, we would be, Phil wouldn't be trading
UPL.
I think off the top of my head, maybe I think Adam Fox really impressed me last year. I've been kind of thinking about some of his.
What about Laffy then? What about Laffy?
Yeah. Well, I already said him. I was just trying to think of something different. So Laffy and Fox. Isn't there a Dallas defenseman? He was good. Not
Wyatt Johnson. Well, Wyatt Johnson.
No. But I don't think his cards can increase. I'm just saying Hartley.
Thomas Hartley.
Yes, him. I could see. I'm just picking guys I saw at the end of last year. I'm like, oh, they're actually pretty good. And I don't hear a lot of talk about him.
I don't think Thomas Hartley's gonna have a big hobby. Guys I would think about would be like Wyatt Johnston or Jack Hughes.
Make or break should have been Tate Thompson. Probably could have been on there.
Yeah, I think that's already over.
Yeah,
guys cast there. Instagram eBoris91. He says, "Why is Extended not as cheap as Series 2? It was the acetates and retro." I don't understand that. Am I missing something?
Why is Extended not as cheap as Series 2?
I think this might be a language thing. Like, is it saying why is Series because Extended is cheaper?
Not as maybe not the same price because it has acetates and Well, it's because it doesn't have the Bedard on.
The Bedard. That's the
Yeah.
That must be what he's asking. Yeah.
Okay. Discord, Sebastian Engelhardt. What's the most valuable card that each of you own, and how much overvalue would it take for you to sell it?
That's a really good question.
I don't have like see, this question's always feel bad because I don't have a lot of super valuable cards. Now I got those Pekka Rinne monumental patches that are, but they're valuable to me. I don't know. I don't know what they're worth. 1,500 maybe. I don't know. $2,000. I would never sell them unless you start throwing like 15 or 10,000, 15,000. Maybe I'll think of it, but I wouldn't want to. And I totally forgot too. I have some random baseball cards I got 61 Manals that were like my father-in-law's. Those are worth some money, but nothing super expensive.
Mine would probably be a 1956 Topps Jackie Robinson PSA 7. I don't think I'd sell it. I want to give it to my son or grandkids. I'm kind of big, I like heirloom kind of passing things down sort of thing. What about you, Phil?
I have a PSA 8, 1979. O-Pee-Chee.
No. No. I shoot myself. Wait, Josh. If I showed up at your door with 50 large, you'd give me the Jackie Robinson. So it's for sale.
Yeah, and then buy another one and give it to my kids.
Damn loopholes. I don't think my cards are worth that much to certain people. My biggest cards are Alfredson, Kachuk. I think my exquisite cards that I've only recently got, but nothing over the last 20 years do I have that would be worth a lot. Yeah, kind of feeling a little small here with this question. A little baby with my collection.
Oh, the baby Philster.
Yeah, I'm a little baby guy. I just my 4-color RPA, I guess, would be my most expensive Brady Kachuk card.
Yeah, I can tell none of us are going to be the guy like, oh, my $500,000. That's not us. We're not that show.
If I did, I probably wouldn't say it on here. I'd probably show you guys
lied
about it.
Like Sports Card Nonsense, Gio talks about all those cards, and then Jesse's like, make sure those aren't at your house.
Mike Gio, I'm sure he'd be
make sure those
lock my door. You have to get through me. Like, okay.
Discord, Bobby 86 collects. If you could take one card from each other's personal collection with them knowing about it but not being able to do anything, what card would it be and why? You each choose one card, Louis and Phil too. Okay, Louis, come on. Gotta come on here. So I would take Phil's nicest 03 exquisite tribute patch.
What I do?
I don't know. You buy so many, I can't keep track how many you have. So I'll just take your nicest one.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Baba Louie's nicest Modano auto in a North Stars jersey. None of that Dallas junk. And then Troy, you have a couple nice bossy cards. I would swipe one of those.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
You have bossy cards?
I have a future SP Signature Editions Legends Gold out of 10 auto one, but it's not even worth that much. But it's still awesome.
When'd you pick that up? You never shared that with the group.
No, I shared. Oh, it'd been
really
a year ago.
Maybe there's more to Troy than we thought. No, there's less. There's less.
Here's my thing. It's like I don't even know what all you guys have. So Josh, I'll take the Robinson that we just talked about.
That's what I was gonna do. Take it.
Phil, I want you to go through and show me all your stature auto patches and all your Parkhurst auto patches.
Never.
Louis, I'm gonna steal one of your Medanos, probably an exquisite Medano, and then I think that's it. That's it.
Louis, what do you want?
I'm taking Phil's Madonna exquisite out of 25 auto.
All right.
Out of all the cards I have, that's what you would take?
I don't know what you got.
I know that's the thing.
I don't even know all the cards Troy and Josh have.
I have a LaFleur stature auto. That's really nice.
You guys all live within 10 minutes of each other and you don't know what each other has? Man, if I was there, I'd know every one of your collections. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right. Facebook, Dave Preston. Do you think Upper Deck would do a color flow that instead of the same picture 5 times, it would be a continuation pictures like a slap shot, glove, save, or celly? I kind of feel like Upper Deck has done something similar to this. There was like 3 different rookies ones. Oh, was that? I don't remember. But I think it's a cool idea. They just have to do it in a way where each card would stand on its own and not be like a puzzle. Because I think people don't like that if you get like sort of a nonsensical piece of a puzzle that is useless unless you
Or
have
but the shot, you can't just have one card be like the puck, like this little image of a puck, and then the other ones have the players.
I love the idea though.
Love the idea. Love the idea.
Instagram, the Rempel Crew. Will you guys be attending the Van City Card Show, and will you be bringing any merch? Well, unfortunately, no, we won't be attending. We're working on some big stuff for the expo right now, but we do have merch coming. We've been doing a pre-sale for our very first merch drop that's been in our Discord. If you're interested, you can message us on social media. We can get you in on that. There's a couple hats, t-shirt, an amazing hoodie, and what we're calling our Founders Drop, and then we'll be doing some more public sales of that soon.
I think Sylvain's in Vancouver, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Say hi to Sylvain. Yeah, I'll treat you
Say hi
right.
to him. Instagram, cracking some cards. With Fanatics being the most powerful entity in the sports card world, should Upper Deck, Leaf, and what's left of Panini consolidate into one company? Or is it just wishful thinking? Is it too late? Like the old expression says, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I want to get your guys' comments. I'll just, the first thing I thought of is like, oh, interesting idea. But then I'm like, without any licenses, does it matter if you, I mean, it's like, that's the key is having the license, right?
I think none of those companies would be attractive to Upper Deck. I wouldn't do it if I was Upper Deck.
Yep.
Leaf and Panini aren't exciting to me. They don't have anything I want, unless they have some exclusive deals I don't know about. But
yeah, Panini Contenders was cool, but not that.
Discord. JT Hockey just finished Thursday's episode. How did Billy not open his QA case of the cup before you interviewed him? Is the whole point of a QA QC for any product not to make sure it's good before it reaches the public? I give UD a lot of leeway when it comes to QC, but the amount of cards produced and accepting that most cards will not or should not gem mint. But it's pretty crazy to hear that he didn't open the QA case before it's released to the public. So it's hard to answer for anybody or Billy. We don't know. Like, we get some insight into what they do. My guess here, JT, is that when he's saying QA QC, he's not meaning it in the same way you do.
Yes, that's exactly what I think it is. You're dead on, Josh.
Yeah. So like their QA cases in their office, because the cards are printed in Italy, they're packed out, I think somewhere on the East Coast, something like that. And when they open that quote unquote QA case or whatever they call it, it's really their first chance to see the cards typically. Yeah. And so where I think they have whatever they do for quality control is probably at the printing facility or the pack up facility. But yeah, it's more just to kind of like see, okay, did the designs that we concepted, did they turn out as we wanted them to? Mm-hmm. Am I saying that right, Troy, or no?
Yeah, that's how I've always looked at it. I never put it on like the product manager to be the quality control. So I've always thought that's just how they referred to those cases as QA cases or QC cases. But could be wrong. I mean, they can tell us.
The Philster has his hand up.
Is QA quality assurance?
Yes.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Good for you. You get a sticker. Discord, California Dave came across the website sportscardinvestor.com. You can look up Young Guns cards and what the trends are for them selling. They show data for up to 30 days. We have to pay to look at data that goes back further. Do you know of any free sites that have this data? So I think Sports Card Investor, that you're probably seeing Market Movers data there.
Yeah, it's got to be Market Movers.
And them and Card Ladder don't do that. I think they're both subscription. I don't know of any free site that give you kind of trend data. Like
Teradata, you might be able to. They gives you at least charts, but it's it's so hard to filter that thing down to what you're looking for.
Card Maven, maybe.
Card Maven.
Yeah, that's an old. It goes back 3 years, but it's kind of wishy-washy.
Last question. Go ahead.
Would that be a good idea for? You don't want to know a good idea for a website? Grotman's always like, we need to know these patches and these fake patches, and every year someone documents all the patches of all the cards, and that's the website. You have a reference website for all patched cards.
That's probably like 100,000 cards that you'd have to get a picture.
We've said that, but I think to get that going, you have to get Upper Deck to do it.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing it. That'd be cool if they did.
We've had that discussion
because
it's a lot.
It only costs them money and it doesn't produce more sales. So it's just.
Oh, all right.
Last question. Instagram Maniac Cards. As a Bruins fan and collector and the mastermind of the hobby Mount Rushmore, We said it was somebody's idea, Maniac. Maybe it was yours. I just always forget. It says, I wanted to give you my 4 Bruins picks. Bobby Orr, check. Ray Bork, check. Bergeron, oops. And then Pasta. So 3 of 4. Pretty close.
So he's a big Bruins guy, and he didn't pick Chara. He picked Pasta. So, what do I know? Maybe we're wrong on that a lot.
Well, I'm looking at our notes for personal pickups, and we're 4 big.
Nothing.
War chesting.
Yeah, Louis, war chesting.
Yeah, it's almost Expo time. We're getting close. And I got to give a quick shout out to our buddy Baba Louis here. He's been working his tail off. There's on the back side of all this. So lots of stuff happening. And so thank you for everything you're doing.
I like that gray coming in, Louis. Looks very established.
No. Secret's out. It's going to get colored.
I'm still alive. The bee stings didn't kill me.
You're going to color your beard? The gray looks great, buddy. You look very handsome with the gray.
Dude.
I like it. I think it's good.
Did he tell you that he's going for like ZZ Top beard?
It's going.
My dad has that. Don't do it.
Yeah. You kind of look like you live in a cabin with like no running water. Kind of thing.
I know what you were gonna say. Were you gonna say the guy in the woods that mailed some stuff to people that he shouldn't have?
Whatever.
Oh, I'm so lost. I missed the Minnesota joke.
No, it's Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, I missed that too. I'm up in Canada.
That's with Chara. That's fine.
Well, on that note, if you like the episode, please leave a rating, review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with Phil or Louie or Troy on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description in both YouTube and podcast apps, and our Instagram and TikTok profile, on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and on the Patreon website, patreon.com. Just search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. Hey, guess what, guys? We're on social media. Why don't you go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and boys. The Hockey Cards Gongshow Podcast is a production of Dollarbox Ventures, LLC. Have an amazing start to your week. Okay, Louis, take us out.
Bye.